Yo, Atlas speaking, and welcome to part 3 of What If I Was Reincarnated in the World of Pokemon as the Greatest Tactician. Let the tale begin. Chapter 91. The spectators who saw this interesting but unexpected fight recognized that Alex was a lot smarter and competent trainer than he showed and couldn't help cheer for him loudly. Alex's plan impressed the audience and the organizers very much. The moderator saw the match and couldn't hold back his excitement. Unbelievable. It looks like participant Alex was deceiving us all along. What a brilliant move! He has deceived all participants and spectators beforehand and made a surprise turnaround in this difficult match. Erica also spoke excitedly. What a great trainer! Even though his Pokemon are weaker, he managed to get himself into such a great position in this match. Professor Walder also couldn't hide his surprise and excitement. Yes, the tactics the participants showed in this round are perfect. In many top fights, trainers are not able to execute the tactics as well as participant Alex. The fact that he used even an interview as a tactic to fool others impressed me deeply. While the three continued to praise Alex, Alex thought about the possibilities of how he should fight now. Although Alex had a great advantage, he would not become arrogant about it. Instead, he will try to expand this advantage with all of his strength. The referee signaled Mason to summon his next Pokemon. Mason took out his next Pokeball without a word. Pokemon, Weezing. LV, 38. Type, Poison. Abilities, Levitate. Gender, Female. Potential, Deep Silver. Move: Poison Gas, Tackle, Smog, Clear Smog, Sludge, Self-Destruct. Innate Talent, Will-O-Wisp, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Flamethrower, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Dark Pulse, TM, Facade. Alex, who saw the strength of this Pokemon, showed a serious expression. He thought, why did this idiot go with Golduck when he has such a Pokemon? Maybe he thought that Golduck with Haze was enough to handle Scizor. Even though Haze can remove the buffs, he first has to hit Scizor with this move. Although Golduck has one level higher than Weezing, Weezing has more advantageous moves. Now that Scizor had lost almost all of his reinforcements, Alex didn't believe that Scizor could just dodge Weezing's attacks, so Alex knew that this fight would be tough. Especially when he saw that this Weezing can use Will-O-Wisp and Flamethrower. Will-O-Wisp in this world works similarly to the games. When used, it decreases the strength, physical strength, and HP of a Pokemon. But in this world, the effectiveness of it depends on how high the move mastery is. Also, type advantage is a big factor too. Since it is a fire-type move, Pokemon's type may increase or reduce the effect. For example, it is not very effective against water-type Pokemon. But if it is used against grass-type Pokemon, then it is super effective. That's why it is a hard counter for the Scizor, who is not only a bug and steel-type Pokemon but also is lower in level than Weezing. When the referee gave the signal to continue fighting, both trainers said at the same time, Scizor, use Quick Attack to dodge and then use that speed to quickly hit him with Metal Claw. Weezing, let's start with the Will-O-Wisp. Alex, who knew that Mason was going to use that move first, gave the command in advance to evade it and harm Weezing. Weezing, whose Will-O-Wisp was on the expert rank, was faster than Scizor and conjured fire that flew in the direction of Scizor with a relatively fast speed. When the flames were only a few yards from Scizor, Scizor used Quick Attack to dodge the flames and ran towards Weezing. While running, his pincer-like hands shone in the silver light. Weezing tanked this attack and used Will-O-Wisp again. Alex, who heard Mason, couldn't help but agree with his command. A bit of harm for Scizor's successful weaknesses was a justifiable trade-off for Mason. Next, use Protect. Before Scizor met Weezing, Alex said what Scizor's next task would be. Scizor successfully hit Weezing, who was preparing Will-O-Wisp. When Weezing used Will-O-Wisp, Scizor blocked it with Protect by a whisker. Mason was getting more and more annoyed with seeing how Alex had the whole fight under his control. Usually, it is notably challenging to know the best move for a Pokemon to use within a second. You need lots of experience in order to predict which move the opponent will use and how to counter it. And it takes time to accumulate this experience. But Alex had lots of experience in his previous life by playing Pokemon games. So to others, Alex seemed like a monster who can easily predict the whole fight. Anyway, he can use Protect only once, thought Mason as he gave his next command. The fact that none of his decision was successful wasn't helping in decreasing his irritation and anger. Scizor, use U-turn. Weezing, use Flamethrower. Alex said it a little earlier. U-turn is a move that is very helpful in this tournament. Usually, it is not allowed to switch a Pokemon while it is under attack by a move. The trainer is allowed to change his Pokemon only when the opponent is preparing a move. U-turn, which automatically calls back his Pokemon to the Pokeball when used, is an exception to this rule. Scizor managed to use his move faster and avoided Weezing's attack by the skin of his teeth. Mason wordlessly watched as Scizor went back into the Pokeball safely. Alex won this round of this fight entirely because his Weezing only took damage without inflicting even a scratch on Scizor. Chapter 92. The spectators who saw this exciting and interesting fight applauded Alex, who outplayed his opponent who was stronger so easily. The weak defeats the strong is a favorite of the masses in this world too. The moderator said with a smile, Alex seems to have the fight completely in his pocket. I think this is the first time I've seen such a young trainer with such combat control. Professor Walder, who liked Alex more and more, said yes, the control and stability that Alex shows in this fight is on the highest level. Even many elite trainers can learn something from Alex in this aspect. I think the word genius is a good description of Alex's talent, maybe even better. Erica, who felt the excitement, said with a smile, you both really like this fight. But I have to admit that this has been my favorite fight so far. The tension and tactics in this fight are really great. Erica waited a bit and said, he's also one of the few trainers who own completely different Pokemon and trains at such a level. Usually, it's easier to focus on one type to get the best out of your Pokemon, but for Alex, this doesn't seem to be a problem. Professor Walder heard Erica's statement and showed a thoughtful expression on his face when he said, yes, Miss Erica Alex has trained many different Pokemon to this level, which is usually relatively difficult for beginners. While having different types of Pokemon can bring many benefits, it has just as many disadvantages. Personally, I think specialists have more advantages. Especially later. Erica said with a thoughtful expression, yes, Professor Walder, it is probably better for most trainers to concentrate on one type than to try to learn several types. Different Pokemon type needs different training. Although this training is not very important at the beginning, it is later a requirement to train his Pokemon optimally. Later, often trainers who can train a type of Pokemon stand out because they have specialized in a type. Probably only monsters would manage to train their Pokemon optimally. The moderator broke their discussion with a smile. Regardless of whether Alex's type of training is optimal, you cannot admire anything other than his successes. Above all, his tactics stand out for me than his talent. Erica says with a soft smile, yes, Alex's tactics in this fight were perfectly planned and executed. I have never seen such an interesting type of tactic where the interview is used as a tactical opportunity. I personally have to admit that I am not very talented with tactics and like a participant Alex. The moderator said slightly, Miss Erica, please don't underestimate yourself so much. The tactics that you showed in this tournament 2 years ago were at the highest level. Erica just showed a gentle smile at this statement. She knew herself that she was worse than Alex when it came to tactics. Erica knows her strengths and knows that tactics are not necessarily her strengths. Alex, who knew Kirlia was his best option, called Kirlia on the battlefield. Kirlia, who was only at level 31, leveled up, didn't have much chance of defeating Weezing, but she could certainly do some harm to Weezing. When the referee gave the victory, both coaches said at the same time. Kirlia used Teleport and then Disable if he uses Dark Pulse, if not use Psychic. Weezing used Dark Pool. Shit, use Thunderbolt. Curlia the more quickly got her order used teleport to get out of the range of Weezing attacks. Then use its psychic to harm Weezing. Although Weezing SPE def is bad and Curlia is using a very effective move, the level difference is too big to cause serious damage to Weezing. If Curlia had the same level as Weezing, this attack would do a lot more damage. Weezing, who saw Curlia out of his attack range, had no choice but to break off his attack and float in the direction of Curlia. Mason, who made more and more mistakes, became nervous. He felt as if Alex could read his mind, which baffled him very much. His whole head was empty of the feeling. Weezing, who has not received a command from his trainer, uses Thunderbolt as soon as he is back in range. Curlia Plan 3. Curlia nodded and started using Teleport again. Plan 3, as Alex calls it, is pretty simple. Use Teleport to dodge Weezing's attacks and then use Psychic to inflict damage on the enemy. Alex didn't think he would get a chance to use this plan because there are many counters for this plan and any experienced trainer can prevent this plan. But Mason, who apparently had little experience with fights at the highest level, did not know how to prevent this plan. Mason saw how his Pokemon always took more damage and tried to think about different plans. Then he thought nervously. He has never felt so confused in a fight. Even in his training match against Koga, he didn't have this feeling. After several rounds of intensive attacks, Alex noticed that his Curlia can no longer teleport and can no longer avoid the attack by Weezing. Weezing, who refueled all attacks from Curlia at this point in time, was bleeding heavily and only had around 20% HP. Weezing used Flamethrower. Curlia, who uses Psychic herself to do more damage to Weezing, could not avoid the attack by Weezing and suffered severe disgrace. With this one attack, she lost more than 60% HP. The difference between levels in this world is not easy to suppress. Curlia and Weezing use the same move again. Curlia used Protect. Weezing used Protect. Both Pokemon managed to block attacks from the enemy. Curlia and Weezing used the same move again and hit the enemy again. Both Pokemon pass out at the same time. Mason saw how Alex only lost his weakest Pokemon and he lose his two strongest Pokemon, that this fight could not be won anymore. If he got another chance for this fight, he thinks this fight wouldn't end like that, but now was too late to think about it. He lost to a weaker trainer. He walked slowly to the referee to tell him that he was giving up. Mason, who lost a lot of self-confidence in this fight, just wanted to go home. The referee announces the winner of the match aloud. Alex, who won this fight impressed, was loudly applauded by the spectators. His popularity increased to a ridiculous level from this one fight. Saffron City in a skyscraper. A middle-aged man with Mafia-like clothes and a neutral expression looked at the big television screen in his office. He had a Persian next to him that he stroked. The man looked interested in the screen when he took his phone from his table. Gives me the information from Alex Stark. What? A member, really? Who is responsible for him? Great, give me his file. Chapter 93. Saffron City. In an underground base, a young girl and a young man were fighting each other with an Ariados and a Nidoking, respectively. The young man had short black hair and a fit body. Together with his eagle-like eyes, he looked dangerous and handsome. The young girl had purple hair and a ninja uniform similar to that of Koga. Even though she was young, you could feel a dangerous aura from her. Especially the indifferent eyes she had were abnormal for her age. Come on, Nidoking, finish this fight with Earthquake. Nidoking, who heard the young man's orders, began to use Earthquake. After just a few seconds, the entire floor was vibrating. Ariados used String Shot to dodge the attack. The Silk she shot to the roof allowed Ariados to stay in the air and be safe from the earthquake. Perfect. Nidoking, use flamethrowers while it's in the air. Ariados, who was in the middle of the air, had no way of effectively evading this attack. Ariados tried to dodge the attack but didn't quite make it and was hit. It already was seriously injured due to the fight, so it passed out immediately after being hit by this attack. The girl looked sadly in the direction of her Pokemon when she called it back. During this fight, 3 different Team Rocket executives were talking on a balcony over the battlefield. This year, the rookies are particularly strong. Yes, in other years, the third rank could have been the winner. Maria, right? She is good, but nothing compared to these two. The two have Pokemon on the elite rank at such age. The talent of these two trainers is ridiculous. It's a shame that all 3 participants have already been taken away by other executives. Aren't I right, Lisa? Lisa quietly listened to the talk of 2 Team Rocket executives and said with a smile, no reason to be jealous. I was just lucky that Maria was in the rookie group that I was entrusted with. Besides, Maria is good, but compared to the other 2, she is a good deal worse. Well, although you are right, these 2 participants have a strong background, so that it is expected from them. While the Team Rocket executive was speaking, the Team Rocket captain, who was selected as the referee for this match, announced the outcome of the match. Participant Marco defeats participant Janine and wins this tournament. The referee threw out a pokeball and summoned his Slowbro. Then he said out loud, the first, second, and third ranked contestant will be personally rewarded by the boss. These participants, please come here. Marco, Janine, and Maria went to the referee when he said that. Marco, who already knows who the secret boss of Team Rocket is, didn't show an excited expression when he heard this. Well, he is Giovanni's nephew, so he obviously knows who is the said boss is. Janine, the daughter of Koga, also knew who the boss of Team Rocket is. Although most Team Rocket members don't know who is the boss of Team Rocket, it is an open secret among the senior members. Even the top members of the Alliance know that Giovanni is the boss of Team Rocket. The reason they passively ignore Giovanni is not known. But it is believed that the Alliance would suffer too much damage if they tried to remove Giovanni. Compared to Giovanni, 3 other Team Rocket members are much less known. Only Giovanni and a few Team Rocket members are aware that Koga, Sabrina, and Lieutenant Surge are also part of Team Rocket. The Alliance is not fully aware of Giovanni's actual strength. Marco, Janine, and Maria teleported into a large, luxury room with a short man inside. Together with this short man, a board fortress was lying around. The young man looked at the 3 when he got up and said, hello. I'm Carr and the person who will lead you to the boss. Marco saw Carr and immediately showed a respectful pose and said, hello, sir. My name is Marco, and I'm happy to finally see you in person. Haha, I've heard a lot from you too, Marco. Your father was really a strong person. In comparison to Marco's friendly greetings, Maria and Janine gave respectful greetings but didn't talk much. All followed the who left the room. Marco kept on continuing their conversation. Maria and Janine wordlessly followed Carr as he led them to a large hallway. After not even 1 minute, the 4 were in front of a large double door that was beautifully decorated. We are there. I have completed my task, so I will be going away. Then he left without waiting for the 3 of them to answer. Marco looked at the door for a few seconds before he started opening that door. When the door opened, the 3 saw a large and luxurious office with a man and a Persian inside. Giovanni looked briefly at the 3 when he said with a strong and indifferent tone, "HM, you are here. Come in and don't stand there." The Persian gave the 3 of them a cold look as they walked in. Maria had the feeling of being watched by an absurdly strong monster as they entered. She thought that if this monster ever wants to kill her, even with the help of her Pokemon, she won't survive even a second. When she saw the man in the chair, she couldn't help but show a surprised expression. Maria did not expect that the strongest gym leader of Kanto would be the boss of Team Rocket. Giovanni looked at the 3 of them with an appraising gaze and said, "I congratulate you all for the performance you have shown in this tournament. Not only will 3 of you be promoted, but each of you will receive special rewards." After saying that, he directed their eyes towards 3 Pokemon eggs that were inside incubators. All 3 eggs were of different colors and sizes. Giovanni saw the curious gazes of theirs when he said, "One of these eggs is of Larvitar that was previously promised for the winner. But because the quality of the rookies has risen sharply this year, I have chosen 2 other rewards." The other two Pokemon egg are probably not as rare as a Larvitar egg, but should not be underestimated. You'll know why later. Maria took the Pokemon egg incubator of hers and looked at the egg with a curious look. Chapter 94. Alex sat in a seat on the edge of the arena battlefield and watched the fight with an examining look. The fight that Alex was watching was the fight of participant number 1 Misty vs participant number 4 Roberta. Grass-type trainer vs water-type trainer. Although competitor Roberta had a type advantage, Alex didn't think she could win. As long as she didn't show any particular strategy, she was likely to be easily defeated by Misty's high-level Pokemon. Alex just hoped that she was strong enough Misty to use all three of her Pokemon so he could observe them. The fight finished faster than Alex predicted. Participants Roberta's Pokemon were not only several levels under Misty's Pokemon but also poorly trained. None of their Pokemon showed a move on the expert rank. And no Pokemon showed physical superiority, such as participant number 2 Junichi's Pokemon, who have an above-average physical performance. Misty only used her two weakest Pokemon to defeat all three of Roberta's Pokemon. Alex showed a funny expression when he saw how Misty had to defeat such easy opponents to get into the final. Well, the match is decided in such a way that it is easy for the top players. While Alex's benefit ended after entering the top 8, Misty will have that benefit until the final. The stronger you are, the more benefits you get. 1 hour later, Alex and Junichi were standing on the battlefield with a referee. The winner of this round will officially fight against Misty in the final tomorrow. The referee repeated the rules for both participants again, even though he noticed that none of them was listening. After the referee completed the protocol of speaking the rules, he showed a signal indicating that both participants had to summon their first Pokemon. A Scizor and a Hitmonlee were called onto the battlefield simultaneously. Junichi had, of course, watched Alex's last fight and didn't want to make the mistake that Mason made. Pokemon, Hitmonlee. LV, 40. Type, Fighting. Abilities, Limber. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Rolling Kick, Meditate, Double Kick, Feint, Brick Break, Facade, Jump Kick, Focus Energy, Mega Kick. Innate Talent, Headbutt, E. Innate Talent, Poison Jab, E. Innate Talent, Helping Hand. TM, Protect, TM, Rock Slide. Alex, who saw his opponent choosing his strongest Pokemon first, as expected, showed a slight smile. His assessment of Junichi was that he probably won't try to put too much thought into choosing the first Pokemon. So Alex could easily predict which Pokemon Junichi would choose first. Although this is not a great advantage, one cannot underestimate this advantage. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alex gave a smile when he said, Scizor, Hyper Beam. Junichi said at the same time, Hitmonlee, use Medita. Meditate. You can save your tricks. I won't fall for it. Alex smiled when he heard this. Junichi didn't understand the smile at first. But when he saw Scizor not using Focus Energy but Toxic, his face went dark. Hitmonlee, who was using Meditate, couldn't avoid Scizor's move and was poisoned. Although his Pokemon was poisoned, Junichi didn't panic because he knows that the Toxic from a non-poison type Pokemon would be less effective. Especially if the targeted Pokemon has a higher level. Although Hitmonlee was slowly starting to take damage, Junichi didn't see it as a significant disadvantage. Hitmonlee, use Meditate once more. Junichi wanted to repeat Alex's tactics in the last round and strengthen his Pokemon a lot before defeating all three of Alex's Pokemon. Although his Pokemon are stronger, Junichi didn't want to take the chance. Scizor, use Sandstorm. When the moderator heard the move that Alex said to use, he made a startled expression on his face. Participant Alex appears to be very rich to be able to buy the TM Sandstorm. Although most trainers rate the TM Sandstorm as not very strong, one should not underestimate the damage that a Pokemon suffers if it stays in this sandstorm for a long time. Alex used almost all of his money yesterday to buy TMs for Scizor. Even though he spent a lot of money on this one move, Alex had no reason to hesitate. Save money or make his Pokemon stronger? It's a no-brainer for Alex. Sizer, who heard this, created a small area where a strong sandstorm was raging. This sandstorm stretched across the whole battlefield and made it very difficult to get in the middle of the arena. Although the visibility was reduced, it wasn't so bad that the Pokemon and trainers can't see each other. As Junichi was about to give his next command, Alex said with a pressing voice, "Sizer, use Plan 5. Junichi, who heard this, looked briefly at Sizer to find out what Sizer wanted to do. Although he wanted to attack, he didn't risk attack Alex just like that. Sizer, who heard this, was using Razor Wind on the solid ground of the arena. The surface was damaged by the move and formed a small dust cloud that was kept in the air by the sandstorm. Alex let Sizer practice the move Sandstorm for a whole day to keep dust in the sandstorm in the air. Although Alex doesn't know how exactly Sizer does it, he was happy that his request was easier for Sizer to implement than he had initially thought. This very small change in this move allows Alex to implement his plan flawlessly. Junichi, who saw Sizer showing more and more gaudiness in the arena, made a grave face. For other trainers, Alex's strategy would be completely useless because they only have to use a flying-type move to destroy this sandstorm. The second possibility is to have a Pokemon that can perceive the opponent's Pokemon even without his eyes. Only Junichi, who was the fighting-type trainer, had neither of these two options. There is also another way. Like Maria, you can attack the arena with a high attack surface move. This option are available to most trainers. Hitmonlee, use Rock Slide. Alex knew that Junichi would use this move. Junichi had no choice but to hope that luck was on his side and that Rock Slide will hit Sizer. He thought that Alex had executed his plan completed, which was not the case. Chapter 95. When Alex said, Plan 5, it meant this. 1. Use Razor Wind to create more dust, which will enhance the sandstorm. 2. After most of the arena is invisible, use Substitute to permanently prevent accidental hits. 3. While you are protected from Substitute, use Focus Energy and Agility to strengthen yourself. Also, use Roost to heal the damage from Substitute. Sandstorm wasn't the only TM Alex bought. 4. Make sure to keep on using the move Sandstorm. Alex suddenly showed a nonchalant expression when he said to Junichi, "Don't hold it against me. I only have one chance of victory. If I am lucky, that is." Junichi showed an annoyed expression when he heard Alex admit his circumstances. "You are a fool if you think that luck can save you from me. Hitmonlee only needs to hit your Pokemon once or a maximum twice before it makes Sizer unconscious. And as soon as your Pokemon is unconscious, your sandstorm will disappear. I don't have to explain what happens then, do I?" Alex showed a neutral expression when he said, "Better than a 0% chance of winning. Although in your case, I would rather be looking at your Pokeball to check if your Pokemon has passed out or not. Pokeball vibrates slightly when the Pokemon is unconscious from the Pokeball. It also has a button that allows the trainer to call his Pokemon directly back to the Pokeball when his Pokemon is not far away." Junichi looked at Alex one last time and began to ignore him. He thought Alex was using this general knowledge to make him nervous. Alex, who saw this, showed a smile when he said, "I just noticed that you haven't changed your Pokemon even though it's poisoned. Does that happen to have a reason? Could it be that you only have one Pokemon that has a move that has a large attack area? Or is it because your buffed up Pokemon will only need one lucky hit to defeat my Pokemon? I wonder. Junichi's eyes twitched when he heard the words of Alex. Although he didn't want to admit it, Alex was right. He has fought a lot of smart trainers, but none was as difficult to beat as Alex. He knew that if his Pokemon had the same level as Alex's Pokemon, he would have been easily defeated by Alex by now. This thought hurt his self-confidence badly. Within 5 minutes, Junichi became more nervous and more confused because the sandstorm did not stop. He had already seen 50 times how stones were accidentally rained over the battlefield, and the sandstorm was still active. Junichi couldn't deny anything when the Pokeball from Hitmonlee vibrated slightly. He could only blame his luck. He pushed a button from the Pokeball, and a red beam from the sandstorm flew in the direction of Hitmonlee's Pokeball. Junichi thought for a few seconds when he called his next Pokemon. Pokemon, Hitmonchan. LV, 38. Type, Fighting. Abilities, Iron Fist. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves: Comet Punch, Leer, Agility, Feint, Swift, Dizzy Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Focus Energy. Innate Talent, Facade, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Bulk Up, E, TM, Seismic Toss. When Alex saw his next Pokemon, he knew why Junichi didn't want to change his Hitmonlee. This Hitmonchan has only one move that can inflict damage to Scizor in this sandstorm. That is, of course, Swift that always hits the target as long as the target is not out of the range. The problem was that Swift is a special move and Hitmonchan has a terrible SP ATK value of 35. Also, the fact that Scizor has resistance towards Swift as a Steel-type Pokemon doesn't help. Although in Alex's case, Swift will do more damage to Scizor than Hitmonchan will take from the sandstorm. Although Scizor can use Roost, it is not a move that Scizor can use indefinitely. Alex estimated Scizor probably won't be able to use Roost during the rest of the fight much anymore. When the referee gave the signal, Alex said aloud, "Scizor, use Wing Attack to blow the dust away." Junichi was giving the order at the same time. Hitmonchan used Swift. Wait, what? Scizor used his flying energy and transported most of the dust out of the battlefield, which quickly became visible. Although Scizor was hit by the Swift move, he appeared to have taken little damage. Junichi became happy when he saw Alex was suddenly ready to fight head-on. His Pokemon have been trained in close combat, so they can easily defeat other Pokemon at the same level in a fair match. Scizor, use Metal Claw. Hitmonchan, use Fire Punch. Scizor flew in the direction of Hitmonchan at a ridiculous speed as his claws shone with silver light. Hitmonchan then noticed that Scizor was buffed to the maximum and was very dangerous. Though Hitmonchan was taken by surprise, he showed an unusual fighting instinct and used Fire Punch to hit Scizor simultaneously. Both Pokemon flew a few meters after being hit by the other's move. Particularly Hitmonchan flew more than 10 meters away. Scizor hit by Fire Punch took extreme damage from this one move only. Not only the spot that was hit was coal black, but it was also extensively bleeding. That one hit took more than half of Scizor's HP. Hitmonchan hit in the head by Scizor's move didn't look any better and was gravely damaged. Scizor, again. Alex, who had used only one Pokemon till now, was ready to exchange Scizor with one of the enemy Pokemon. As in chess, if you have an advantage and both parties have two pieces of the same value, it is worth taking out the opponent's chess piece by sacrificing your own to increase your advantage. Junichi, who saw this, knew that Hitmonchan could not dodge this attack with his speed. Use Protect and then Fire Punch. Alex, who heard that, said quickly, "You, too." Hitmonchan used Protect to block most of Scizor's attacks, and Scizor, after his attack, used Protect to block Hitmonchan's attack. Scizor, again. Damn! You too, Hitmonchan. Both Pokemon exchanged attacks again. After the two moves were used, the viewers could see an unforeseen outcome. Both Pokemon pass out at the same time. Junichi saw how he only had his weakest Pokemon left. But he didn't want to give up yet. Although the chance is small, he wanted to try his luck. Chapter 96. Alex brought Crobat back to the Pokeball who just defeated Junichi's last Pokemon. You could see a small smile plastered on Alex's face. The feeling of victory over a much stronger opponent is really indescribable. The spectators were screaming excitedly for Alex's win. Alex had never felt so strong and confident. The audience saw that for the first time in the history of this tournament, the contestant with participant number 6 has reached the final and applauded and cheered a lot for Alex's achievements. His achievements made him by far the most popular participant. Although most of the audience didn't think Alex had a chance to really win the tournament, they couldn't help but clap for him. What he has achieved wasn't something anyone could do. As a matter of fact, he was the first one to achieve it. Alex, who was about to leave the arena, saw a blonde woman approaching him along with a camera team. She was none other than the one who interviewed him the last time. Or you could say the first time, since Alex has only given one interview. The blonde woman gave a seductive smile when she asked, "Participant Alex, do you have time for a short interview?" Alex, who saw the fake smile from the woman, thought, "Wow, this woman has thick skin. First, ridicule me. And when she saw my strength and success, she is being seductive now. Well, I'm not exactly a noble person myself. Can an interview help me get a little advantage? I think that the chances of Misty believing the words from my interview are close to 0%. So the old trick probably won't work anymore. But that doesn't mean the interview will be completely useless to create an advantage for me." Alex agreed and went to a quiet place with the blonde woman and the camera team. The blonde woman asked if Alex was ready before asking her first question. "Alex, after you surprised all participants and spectators and reached the final, do you think that you will be the winner of this tournament?" Alex gave a small smile as he said honestly, "No. I made all of these plans to get into the finals. To be honest, I still can't believe that my plans have worked so well so far. How sure are you that you can win the final?" Alex made a helpless expression. "Win? Sigh, unfortunately, the only tactic that comes to mind that would allow me to win against Misty is very risky. Although this plan is risky for me, I couldn't think of a better plan against Misty. Can I ask why you can't use the tactics from the other rounds?" The reason is relatively simple. It is not possible. Water Pokemon have many moves with a large attack range. Thus my Sandstorm plan would not work. The Scissor tactic is completely useless since the opponent already knows it. To get a chance to have the victory, I have to use my risky tactics. Basically, my luck will decide my success. Although Alex said this with a serious face, he thought something else. Although the Sandstorm tactic is really not that good against Water-type Pokemon, it doesn't mean that it is useless against this type. The real reason is that Misty has a Pokemon that can use Rain Dance that makes this plan almost impossible to succeed. "Alex, can you tell me what the plan is exactly?" "I promise I won't tell anyone." Alex showed a sarcastic face when he said, "Oh, really? How great! I met a rare journalist in the world who can keep a secret. What a miracle!" The blonde woman showed an annoyed expression when she said, "Come on, no reason to be so sarcastic." Alex didn't say anything about this statement, and the atmosphere soon turned uncomfortable. After a few more minutes of general questions, the blonde woman and the camera team said goodbye to Alex. As they left, the blonde woman gave Alex a slip of paper with a phone number. Alex, who saw this note, briefly showed a confused expression when he looked at the woman who was slowly walking away. Alex had the feeling that she swung her hips a little more unnecessarily as she walked away. Although he knew that this approach probably had nothing to do with his face, he still felt a bit more handsome. He took the paper and threw it into the nearest garbage can before he and Curlia went towards his hotel. While walking, many people recognized Alex in town. They showed an expression of interest and admiration as he walked around town. Many children also asked for an autograph from Alex when they saw him. Alex and his Pokemon were sitting in the hotel. Alex's Pokemon have trained for today, so they all have free time to pursue their hobby. Curlia was calmly reading a book on a small chair. Her speed of reading was also very impressive as she quickly finished a small book and started reading another one. She also likes to play chess against Ditto. Crobat has no real hobby, though he flies to the top of these hotels at night and keep watch. Although he denied that he does it to take care of Alex and his Pokemon at night and said that he likes the air at night, Alex knows that it isn't the whole reason Crobat does this. Scizor is one of the few Pokemon from Alex who continue to train independently even after the long training hours. Although he also likes to watch the TV aside from training when a Pokemon fight is going on. Ditto likes playing with Sheldon. This type of fighting games is good for the development of Sheldon, who is still just a kid. Ditto also likes to play chess against Kirlia, although it has not won yet. You gotta praise its fighting spirit. Sheldon likes to play with Ditto. He also likes to watch TV when he sees something interesting in it. He also goes to Alex's direction and plays with him when he sees that Alex is free. Chapter 97. Alex was sitting on a chair with a piece of paper on the table that had various ideas to defeat Misty written on it. Although he had thought about a good plan after several hours, Alex couldn't think of a really 100% win plan. FCK, why can't I think of anything? Do I really have to use that idea? But it is highly unreliable and has a lot to do with luck. Kirlia, who was reading a book, felt Alex's emotions were getting worse and worse. She closed her book and walked towards Alex. When she was behind Alex, who was lost in thought, and hugged him, Alex suddenly felt a touch around his body and turned to see who it was. After he saw Kirlia hugging him cutely, his mood got better without him even noticing it. He looked at Kirlia with a confused look when he said, "Kirlia, what's going on? Are you lonely? Or sick? Shall we go to a poke center? Or—" Kirlia just smiled at the many questions that Alex was asking her. Alex woke up early in the morning at his bedside, feeling nervous. That feeling of not having a solid plan for how to fight and not knowing how it will go wasn't a great feeling for him. Alex likes to have a certain amount of control over the fight and not give the opponent any chance of victory. Unfortunately, Misty's Pokémon were too strong and had no fatal weaknesses like his last opponent had. What annoyed Alex the most was that he couldn't get the info of her strongest Pokémon, Starmie. The problem lies in Starmie being an elite Pokémon. Misty has got into the finals with her two weakest Pokémon while Alex had shown all of his Pokémon. Alex's Pokémon ate breakfast silently that day, which just shows that they were also quite nervous. During breakfast, the TV was on showing a pre-show for the tournament. As usual, Erica and Professor Walter were invited to this pre-show as guests. Welcome to the pre-show of the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Today is the last and the most important day of the tournament, where we will find out the winner of this thrilling tournament. Though before that fight, we will have the fight for the third place. Naturally, I am not alone today. Gym leader Erica and Professor Walter are with me to share with us their valuable insight. Erica showed a gentle smile as she greeted the audience. Professor Walter also tried to smile in a friendly way but couldn't, thanks to his relatively grumpy face. Let's talk about the fight for the third place first. The participants are. Alex heard them first talking about this unimportant match. He just ignored it and continued eating his meal. Alex didn't care who wins the third place. He knows that third place gets a Pokémon egg from a royal Pokémon. That is why this fight is so important to the contestants. The first three will all get a royal Pokémon egg, as far as Alex knows. The first place will also get a rare item for his Pokémon egg, which can increase the potential of this Pokémon. Alex has not yet considered which royal Pokémon to choose because his total focus was on winning this tournament. Although he hates to bet on his bad luck, he had no choice because Misty's Pokémon have no apparent weakness and were much stronger than his Pokémon. Maybe if he had 6 months or even 3 months more to train, this would not be the case. When he thought of the first few months he was wasted in this world, he got annoyed again. Okay. Let's talk about the finale and the 2 participants who made it this far. He presented the participants for the final to the audience before he asked with a smile, "Erica, which of these outstanding participants do you think will win this final?" Erica, who was already expecting this question, showed a conflicted face. I've thought about this question a lot myself, and I have to say that I have absolutely no idea. Although Misty is much stronger, participant Alex is not an opponent that you can easily defeat just because you are stronger than him. So this fight can go in any direction. Professor Walter nodded with an approving smile. Yes, I can't agree with you more. This finale can go in any direction despite the great level of difference. Although most viewers are thinking right now that Alex is too weak to win. I think that that's not the case. Although the level difference is big, it's not so big that Alex's tactics are useless against this strength. Erica said seriously, I think this tournament will be one of the most enthralling and exhilarating tournaments in a long time. The moderator said with a smile, as the audience have just heard, we can look forward to an exciting finale. Alex, who heard this, had tick mark on his face when he thought, I hate this excitement. Damn it! Why can't I get an easy opponent and win the reward? While Alex was thinking about it, Sizer and Crobat were bickering again. Hey, Bat! I thought about the tournament a bit and realized that you have been pretty useless in this tournament so far. So I ask you to pull yourself together in the final, so we don't lose. I don't want to lose the finale just because of your poor performance. Whatever you do, don't drag us down. Crobat couldn't hold his anger anymore. Shut up, you second-class can opener. Alex has clearly saved me for the final as a trump card, so don't lower the IQ around you with your dumb words. What did you call me, you arrogant bat? You heard me. As always, Curlia sighed and went to her two brothers to end their argument quickly. Curlia, who is much younger than Sizer and Crobat, just couldn't understand why they argue if they didn't actually hate each other. Alex, who looked at the time, looked up and said to his Pokemon, Let's go! Chapter 98. Alex and Misty were standing on the opposite side of the battlefield. You could find the referee on the side of the battlefield explaining the rules for this round again. Shortly before this round, Roberta and Junichi fought for third place. Not surprisingly, Junichi won this fight relatively easily with the help of his elite Pokemon. The referee gave the signal, and Sizer and Starmie were called to the field simultaneously. Alex wasn't surprised by Misty's choice. He had expected that Misty's first Pokemon would either be Golduck, who can use Rain Dance, or Starmie, her strongest Pokemon. Pokemon, Starmie. LV, 42. Type, Water/Psychic. Abilities, Natural Cure. Gender, Genderless. Potential, Deep Gold. Moves: Harden, Tackle, Psywave, Water Gun, Swift, Minimize, Confuse Ray, Bubble Beam, Light Screen, Psychic, Recover. Innate Talent, Hyper Beam, E, Innate Talent, Blizzard, E, Innate Talent, Psyshock, E. TM, Toxic, TM, Surf, TM, Thunder, TM, Thunder Wave, TM, Substitute, TM, Protect, TM, Facade. That's really not really favorable. Surf, Swift, and Blizzard make my Sandstorm plan completely useless. Natural Cure makes even poisoning relatively ineffective. And the strong attack moves on the expert rank makes it almost invincible against me. The only good thing is that those expert rank moves are not that effective against Sizer. I can only hope that my bet works. Misty gave a smile in contrast to Alex's serious expression when she saw Sizer. Although Sizer has the type advantage, the strength Starmie has is more than enough to make up for that advantage. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alex immediately showed an arrogant expression when he said aloud to Misty. Misty has no bust. Completely flat. Flat, flat, like a lake. Misty is a pirate's dream. A sunken chest. Those aren't even boobs. They are mosquito bites. Misty, who was just giving her order, heard this and got completely pissed off. Starmie use HAH. What are you talking about, you bastard? Haha. Sorry. I shouldn't have said such things about Stunfisk mean your chest. Misty flipped out, hearing Alex shouting about a topic for which she is very insecure. She wanted to go to this bastard and punch him in the face. Shut up, you bastard. The referee, who saw Misty was going to walk in the direction of Alex at any moment, said aloud, Please. Both participants calm down and continue with this fight. After saying that, he looked at the grinning Alex and said, Participant Alex, please don't offend your opponent. If you do that again, I'll disqualify you. Alex smiled and slowly said, "Mr. Referee, my words don't have an offensive word in them, so I didn't break the rules." During this exchange, Misty suddenly noticed that Alex's Pokemon had been using focus energy the whole time. Then she looked at her confused Starmie, who was still waiting for the order. She realized that she fell into his trick. The referee saw it too, but didn't say it when he realized it. In his opinion, Alex has not broken the rules. And after the first warning, Alex said nothing. So he was safe. Misty saw that referee said nothing and suppressed her anger. "Starmie, use Surf." When Alex saw Misty start attacking, his face grew serious. Although this was a cheap trick, he had no choice but to hope that Misty and her Pokemon would be distracted and Scizor would have enough time to use the buffs. Without the reinforcements, Scizor won't be able to deal enough damage to defeat Starmie quick enough without taking too much damage. Because Alex knows that Starmie can also hit the speedy Pokemon, he had Scizor only use focus energy. But even with the luck that this risky plan worked, Scizor was still weaker than Starmie. At that moment, Alex was glad that all of Starmie's expert moves are ineffective against Scizor. Due to that, Scizor still had a chance to win this unfair fight. "Okay, Scizor. It's time. Tank the damage and then use Fury Cutter." Although Scizor can use Protect, Alex wanted to wait for a better time. Starmie suddenly conjured a relatively large wave of water that was moving in the direction of Scizor. Fortunately, the trainers are protected by a strong Psychic-type Pokemon, so they are not threatened by such moves. Scizor, who saw this gigantic wave of water coming towards him, showed no fear as he ran against it. The water wave suddenly crashed completely onto Scizor as he approached the wave. Despite the mighty blow, Scizor was thrown back only a few meters. Then he continued running in the direction of Starmie without showing any weakness. Inexplicably, all of the built-up water disappeared instantly. Alex, who saw that Scizor suffered a lot of damage after this one attack, made a serious expression. In his estimation, Scizor only had around 75% HP left after that one hit. The strength of an elite Pokemon is really not easy to overcome. Starmie, use Thunder Wave. Scizor managed to get close enough to Starmie to start attacking Fury Cutter. Scizor, use Protect. Scizor quickly used Protect to block Misty's move. After blocking this move, he could comfortably start hit Starmie and hopefully deal a critical hit. After a successful blow, he didn't stop and kept on using this move continuously. Now that Scizor is so close, Starmie will probably use Blizzard. Scizor is in close combat with Starmie, so Misty can't waste much time, since Psychic has lower attack power. And after using Hyper Beam, Starmie has to wait until she is recharged. And they don't have a large attack area, so there is always a possibility of Scizor dodging it. And the reason she won't use other moves is that they are not quite ineffective against Scizor, they have a lower attack power, and they will take more time to use. As predicted, though Starmie was taking more and more damage, it started using the move Blizzard under the order of Misty. Scizor had no chance to dodge this large-scale attack and was hit completely. The dents on the side of his body looked terrible after this attack. Although this attack is not effective against Steel-type Pokemon, the damage it caused was not small. Even though he was just seriously hit, Scizor didn't stop attacking Starmie. Alex, who felt the willpower of Scizor, showed a proud expression as if he wanted to tell the whole world that Eamon. Scizor attacks got stronger and stronger, and so did damage caused to the Starmie. Fury Cutter is a fearsome move. After a successive hit, it gets 2 times more powerful, though there is a limit to how strong it can be. Not to mention, Scizor's ability Technician boosts this attack even more. So together with all the buffs, he was able to deal consistent high damage to Starmie. This kept going on for a while. Misty was hoping for Starmie to gain the upper hand in this fight by herself. But seeing how the situation was not getting better, she decided to intervene. When Misty wanted to give her the next order, Scizor luckily met the weakest arms of Starmie and made Starmie bleed heavily. This critical hit came at a perfect time. Misty said gravely, "Starmie, use Protect to disrupt his move. When Alex saw Starmie successfully block Scizor's attack, his face became annoyed. Scizor, use Fury Cutter again. Starmie, use Blizzard again. Both trainers tried to damage the opponent as much as possible in order to defeat his opponent faster than the other. Both chose the aggressive route, and their Pokémon kept on spamming the same most damage moves. After a further exchange of blows, both Pokémon looked very hurt, so that both trainers knew that both Pokémon could not take any more hits. Scizor, use Giga Impact, quick. Starmie, use Hyper Beam, fast. Both Pokémon used their moves as quickly as possible. 3 seconds later, Alex and Misty both looked at their badly injured and unconscious Pokémons on the ground. Chapter 99. Alex saw Scizor pass out on the floor together with Starmie and didn't know how to feel. Although this situation seemed beneficial for Alex, it was really not the case when you consider that only Scizor had type advantage and could be reinforced 4 times. Although his chance of winning was relatively good before, that couldn't be said now. Misty, who saw her starter Pokémon lying on the floor unconscious, felt a wave of inexplicable anger at herself. If she wasn't fooled by Alex at the beginning, Starmie wouldn't have lost. Yes, it is a draw. And technically, Starmie didn't lose, she just didn't win. But when seeing how its opponent was a Scizor, who she could have easily defeated if not for her foolishness, she considers it as Starmie and her loss. The referee looked at the 2 unconscious Pokémon and spoke, "Participants Misty and Alex's Pokémon have passed out and are unable to battle anymore. It's a draw. Please bring out the next Pokémon when I give the signal." Alex had a guess which Pokémon Misty will bring out and started thinking of a good plan. The start of this round went according to plan until the moment Scizor could not gain the advantage, which made Alex's plan difficult. Of course, he had more than one plan to beat Misty. But other plans weren't as good as the one he was using until now. Now he has to come up with another plan or modify an old plan to win this match. At the referee's signal, Alex and Misty called out their next Pokémon at the same time. "Go, Crobat!" "Golduck, I choose you." Pokémon, Golduck. LV, 39. Type, Water. Abilities, Damp. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move: Scratch, Tail Whip, Water Gun, Confusion, Fury Swipes, Disable, Psybeam, Screech, Surf. Innate Talent, Psychic, E. Innate Talent, Iron Tail, E. Innate Talent, Headbutt, E. TM, Protect, TM, Light Screen, TM, Rain Dance, TM, Whirlpool, TM, Hyper Beam, TM, Blizzard, TM, Calm Mind, TM, Toxic. Alex, who knew that Golduck could use the move Calm Mind, didn't want to risk choosing Kirlia as his next Pokémon. Although Kirlia can also use this move, she is too weak to win against a buffed-up Golduck. Although Crobat had to fight a Pokémon that was a psychic expert, Alex had no better options. That was also one of the reasons why he didn't want to lose Scizor so early. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Misty immediately said, "Golduck, start with Rain Dance." Crobat immediately used Taunt without Alex having to say anything. The reason Crobat did this was quite simple. Alex had told him before the fight that if he were to fight Golduck, he should immediately use Taunt after the referee gives the signal. With this tactic, Alex can ensure that the Crobat would be a bit faster in exchange for not being flexible. High risk, high gain. Misty, who looked at how Crobat used a move without Alex saying anything, was a bit confused. It is seldom the case that Pokémon uses a move without the commands from their trainer. Her face went dark when she noticed that Crobat succeeded in using Taunt before Golduck could use Rain Dance. She realized that Alex had anticipated what she was doing without knowing all of Golduck's moves. And the fact that he was successful was mind-boggling to her. She became nervous, and there was only one word for Alex in her mind. Monster. After this, Crobat started preparing a move again without further instructions. Before the round, Alex had told him that if the tactic works, then he should use Toxic immediately. Misty, who saw this, realized that she couldn't lose any more time. Golduck, use Psychic. Golduck was still confused why his rain dance didn't work and why he was suddenly feeling anger towards this Crobat. Then he heard the orders from his trainer and immediately began to prepare the move. Crobat, who started earlier, was able to use his move first. He created a poisonous liquid that he threw in the direction of Golduck. Golduck tried to avoid it but was still hit. And through devil's luck, he was even hit in the head, which made the poison's effect stronger. Can move because of the expert rank. This world is not a game where every poison does the same amount of damage, so this good hit was very important for Alex. By hitting Golduck's weak point, Crobat's poison will be highly effective and cause more damage. Crobat, tank the attack and use Confuse Ray. Psychic is unfortunately not an attack that you can evade with speed, so Alex did not waste his time trying to avoid it. Time is a very crucial factor in this fight, and Alex can't waste any of it. Golduck finished using Psychic on Crobat and inflicted great damage. Crobat suffered severe injuries by this move. His whole body looked as if he had been hit by a hammer. One part of his body was also bleeding heavily. Golduck, use Psychic again. Crobat managed to use Confuse Ray despite the damage he suffered. Golduck, whose speed is not a very high value, could not avoid Crobat's move and was hit. After being hit by Crobat move, he saw the world twice. Crobat, use Plan 15. Plan 15, as Alex calls it, is a simple plan where Crowbar first uses Fly. Then hopes that the confused Golduck will attack the wrong Crobat flying up in the sky. Then Crobat will take a fall from the high altitude and cause Golduck high damage. After Golduck has tanked the attack and wants to attack Crobat again, Crobat will use Protect and immediately use Fly to get out of range of his next attack. Though the prerequisite for using this plan is that opponent should be in a confused state. Crobat immediately used Fly when he heard Alex's words. As he soared high in the air, Golduck, who was still in range, used Psychic to harm Crobat. And because he saw two Crobat, Golduck didn't know which of these Pokemon was the right Crobat, so he could only hope for luck. Unfortunately for Alex, Golduck successfully struck Crobat. Crobat, who was hit again, looked terrible. His whole body was bleeding, and Alex estimated that Crobat only had around 20% HP, which was not good news. Alex showed an annoyed expression at his tough luck. Crobat used Fly and flew towards Golduck at a very high speed. Golduck used Protect and then Blizzard. Golduck, who created a shield, successfully blocked the attack by Crobat. After blocking this attack, he quickly started using Blizzard. Crobat was at the side of Alex when he blocked Golduck's attack with his own Protect. Then Fly was used again without the command. Misty, seeing Crobat using Protect without a command, looked surprised when Crobat dodged his defeat. When Misty wanted to use Psychic again, she realized the Crobat was too far away to use Psychic successfully. She tried to come up with a strategy quickly but came up empty. Golduck, who was poisoned at the beginning of this fight, showed a violet color on his skin, which indicated that Golduck's condition was grave. Misty, seeing how quickly Crobat's poison was inflicting damage on Golduck, looked annoyed. If Golduck wasn't hit in the head, poison's effect wouldn't be this fast. Crobat fell at a faster pace towards Golduck that this attack could not be avoided. Golduck, hit by this strong fly attack, was sent flying several meters behind. Together with the poison, his condition looked as bad as Crobat's. Fortunately, the effects of Confused Ray wore off, and he was able to see the world normally again. Crobat, finish it with Shadow Ball. Golduck, use Psychic, fast. Both trainers knew that their Pokemon can only take one hit, so they quickly gave their orders. Crobat and Golduck used their moves simultaneously. And because of that, neither of them managed to avoid the attack. Both Pokemon fell to the ground after being hit by the move of the opponent. Chapter 100. Alex, who wanted to take out Crobat's Pokeball from his Pokebelt, suddenly noticed that Crobat was not yet unconscious. Crobat's whole body was red due to all the blood. And together with the frostbites that Crobat had, he looked terrible. Normally, such a Pokemon shouldn't be able to stand. But Crobat, who desperately wanted to win this fight, showed his tremendous willpower. Alex, who saw this, wondered if he should let Crobat fight with these injuries. As he was thinking about calling Crobat back, Crobat gave a look that was clearly stating, "Don't you dare to call me back." Alex, who felt the determination of Crobat, showed an indescribable smile. The expression he made looked as if Alex wanted to tell the whole world that this is his Pokemon / his family. Misty saw that the Crobat was still standing despite the damage he suffered, showed an irritated expression. Golduck is unable to battle. It's Crobat's win. Participant Misty, please call your next Pokemon when I give the signal. The referee looked at Misty to show her to call her next and last Pokemon. Pokemon, Dugong. LV, 34. Type, Water/Ice. Abilities, Hydration. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move: Headbutt, Growl, Encore, Aqua Jet, Ice Shard, Rest, Aurora Beam, Waterfall. Innate Talent, Ice Beam, Innate Talent, Helping Hand, Innate Talent, Drill Run. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Facade, TM, Surf. Dugong is one of the water Pokemon that can fight relatively immobile on land. In this world, not all water-type Pokemon can fight on the ground, as well as they can on the water. Many water Pokemon have many different skills that allow them to fight just as well on land as they do in the water. For example, Golduck, Starmie, and Gyarados can fight very well in the land. Golduck, who has 2 legs, can obviously fight well on the land with a bit of training. Starmie, who can use his psychic power to move its body, can also fight relatively well on the ground. Gyarados is one of the few Pokemon that can fight well in the land, sea, or the air. Did anyone got this reference? Winky face. 3, 2, 1, go! The referee gave the signal when he saw that both trainers were ready. Crobat, use Toxic. Dugong, finish him with Ice Beam. Ice Beam that was on the expert rank obviously charged up faster than Crobat's move. Shortly before Crobat was hit with this attack, he used Toxic to poison the opponent. Dugong tried to avoid the poisonous liquid but was unfortunately hit. Crobat was already very injured, and he used a move that was not on the expert rank. Due to that, he couldn't move and avoid Dugong's move. Crobat, hit by this move, immediately collapsed to the ground. His whole body was covered with blood and injuries. Alex looked uneasily at the condition of Crobat before pulling out his Hyper Potion. Alex didn't want to wait to heal Crobat, so he immediately used the Hyper Potion on him. When Alex saw that he had taken care of the worst injuries, and the bleeding had stopped, he called Crobat back to the Pokeball. You did good, my friend. Now take a rest. Alex knows how important it was for his victory that Dugong is already poisoned when he has to fight Kirlia. Without this poisoning, the outcome of this fight would be difficult to predict. The referee said to Alex, participant Alex has 20 seconds to call his next Pokemon or he will be disqualified. Alex, who knows the rules, wasn't surprised that the referee realized that he was delaying the time to do a little more damage to Dugong. Misty blew a fuse seeing Alex wasting time. Hey, don't you have any shame? Fight like a man. Although this was a cheap trick, Alex didn't care at all. For Alex, the victory is more important than the honor, which can apparently be determined by other people. As long as his family supports him, Alex doesn't care about other people's opinions at all. Only when 5 seconds were left, Alex called Kirlia on the battlefield. Kirlia, come out. Let's win this tournament. The referee didn't want to waste any more time and quickly gave the signal to start. Dugong, continue using Ice Beam. Kirlia, use Teleport to get out of range of Ice Beam and then use Calm Mind while avoiding Ice Beam. Teleport is one of the few moves that can be used immediately with enough practice, which makes it ideal for dodging. Kirlia, who was at the edge of the battlefield, was now far enough from Ice Beam to dodge the attack without using a move. Misty, who knows that Dugong can only move slowly on the land, wasn't so stupid as to order Dugong to chase Kirlia. Although she would like to use Encore, the requirements are unfortunately not met to use this move now. Range. Dugong used Surf. Alex, who saw Misty use her only move with a large attack area, showed a smile. Kirlia used Disable. Disable works a little differently in this world than in games. For example, it can also be used when the Pokemon is preparing a move and does not have to wait until the move has been used. But this move also has many disadvantages in this world. It is hard to use it successfully in this world because it has many requirements that need to be met in order to use it. When you have this move on to the expert rank, the requirements get a bit easier. Alex knows from testing these moves that the move works against Pokemon of a higher level only when the move is not on the expert rank. In addition, the level difference in distance are also a factor deciding the result. The level difference must not be too big. And the same goes for the distance. Kirlia managed to use her expert rank Disable faster than Dugong and completely prevented her from using Surf. It looked like Misty was utterly defenseless against Alex. She has never been this frustrated in her life. Misty took part in this tournament to show her sister and the whole world what a talented trainer she is. But in this fight, she realized how much worse she is as a trainer than Alex. She felt defenseless, and she hated that feeling. Dugong, use Ice Beam and try to guess Kirlia's movements when you aim. Alex, who heard this command, couldn't help but praise Misty's talent. She has many good qualities as a trainer that makes her stand out from other trainers. Unfortunately not good enough, thought Alex when he gave Kirlia her next order. Use Teleport only when this Dugong tries to use Ice Beam. Misty, who heard the command from Alex, knew that she had no chance now. She couldn't think of anything that she can do now to win this match. Her Dugong was now like a tank that can only move slowly and had a hard time hitting its target out of range. Normally, that wouldn't be a problem because Misty can just wait until Kirlia simply can't use the teleport anymore. But because her Dugong was poisoned by Crobat, the fight is no longer on her side. She thought that if Crobat hadn't poisoned her Pokemon, she would have won this fight. Crobat was able to use only one move before he collapsed, but it decided the outcome of this fight. As she thought about these things, she saw her Pokemon being able to hit Kirlia with all its power. But due to the range and use of teleport, she missed Kirlia by a whisker. Why do you have to fight like that? Can't you fight fair? Don't you feel any shame from winning a match like this? Alex, who heard this, looked at Misty with a disappointed look. Is that what you really think? I hope that this is just a tactic to provoke me. After hearing this, Misty knew it was over. After several minutes, Dugong passed out. The audience who saw the weak trainer defeat the strong trainer applauded loudly for Alex's victory. The arena was filled with cheers for Alex. Alex made history with this victory and showed that even the weak trainers have a chance to win this tournament. Alex cried out loud as he ran with a broad smile in the direction of Kirlia. He lifted Kirlia like a father would his child and hugged her. Then he lifted her up in the air so that the whole world can see Kirlia. Kirlia, who could feel the emotions of her father, showed a shy smile the whole time. Chapter 101. As Alex and Kirlia were celebrating their victory, Misty slowly walked towards Alex with a bitter expression. When Misty put out her hand, Alex accepted the handshake. When Alex said, "Good fight," Misty simply gave a hollow smile. She said with a cold expression, "You are really shameless." Alex didn't answer her. Although she was right, Alex thought of her as a loser who can't accept the fact that she lost. When Alex saw two staff members putting a podium with 3 seats in the middle of the arena, he smiled. Junichi followed the staff with a neutral expression. Erica came into the arena with a microphone and a small closed wooden box. After a short speech to calm down the spectators, she asked all 3 participants, Junichi, Misty, and Alex, to go on the podium. She took out a bronze medal from the wooden box and hung it around on Junichi's neck. Together with the friendly words from Erica and the applause from the audience, a good atmosphere was created. Then she took a silver medal out of the wooden box for Misty. She also kindly comforted Misty, who had just lost. The audience also applauded loudly for Misty. In fact, it was a good deal louder than Junichi's applause. When Erica put the gold medal around Alex's neck, the whole stage was full of loud applause. All stood up in the spectator seats and cheered loudly for Alex. The achievements that Alex showed in this tournament were unprecedented. Most people don't even imagine to be able to do what Alex has accomplished. Alex, who was weaker than 5 other participants, managed to win this tournament, which impressed all spectators. You could hear the shouts for Alex's name in the arena. Alex! 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 The fireworks filled the sky, celebrating the winner of the tournament. This tournament will go down in history and will be remembered for a very long time. And the person responsible for that was none other than Alex. And with these words, I officially conclude the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Thank you, everyone, for all the support you have shown to all of us. After Erica's long farewell speech, the camera team stopped filming Erica. Most of the spectators also slowly began to leave the stage. When Erica noticed that most of the audience had left, she said with a smile to the 3, "Haha, that was tough, wasn't it? Ah, I have to give you the reward. I almost forgot about it." Alex just smiled at her statement. He could now understand a little better why Erica is so popular with the audience. The kind aura she was emanating was indeed soothing. Erica led Alex, Misty, and Junichi to a large room where Professor Walder and 3 Pokegs are in the incubator. Professor Walder looked at the 3 participants and smiled. Congratulations on reaching the top 3 in all of Kanto. These achievements are greater than you might think because the Alliance is very important for talented trainers like you all. But let's talk about your reward right now. We got 3 royal Pokemon eggs from strong Pokemon from the 3 different famous professors. The 3 Pokemon are Torchic, Totodile, and Bulbasaur. You will get to choose the Pokemon in the order of your rank. First, Alex. Then Misty. And lastly, Junichi. And if you don't want the Pokemon, you can instead choose another reward. Alex, if you please. Alex, who heard the 3 options, began to think intensively about which of these Pokemon he would like to train most. Each of these Pokemon has pros and cons, so there is no obvious choice. After several minutes of intense thought, Alex picked up the Torchic's Pokemon egg. Alex thinks that Torchic is probably the best option for him, as he doesn't have a fighting or fire-type Pokemon yet, and he just likes Blaziken as a Pokemon. Blaziken is just a monster in damage dealing. It also has a very high ATK and SP ATK, which makes it very difficult to defend against his attacks well. When Alex chose his Pokemon, Professor Walder brought out a small box with a red fire symbol. Although only the first place gets this extra item, the professor had prepared 3 different items for each Pokemon just in case Alex chose another Pokemon. Alex took the small box with a curious look. He wondered what kind of reward the first place in this tournament would get. When Misty's chance came, she immediately chose Totodile as her Pokemon without any surprise. And Junichi, who knows that he can't train grass-type Pokemon, chose another reward. He got the very rare and expensive expert belt from Professor Walder. This reward is not necessarily worse than a normal royal Pokemon, but Alex, who saw it, couldn't help but shake his head. The royal Pokemon of this tournament are definitely the elite of the royal Pokemons. So Alex found it stupid not to pick a Pokemon. Before Alex could go, Professor Walder invited him to talk about Pokemon. Of course, Alex didn't miss the chance to make friends with an influential person from the Alliance. Alex chatted with Professor Walder about various things related to Pokemon. Both realized very late that they had been talking to each other for several hours. Both exchanged their contact details before parting. Alex, who came out of his shower, looked happily at his Pokemon. They were curiously looking at the Pokemon egg in the incubator on the table. Although Alex already knows which Pokemon is in this egg, he didn't want to take away the surprise from his Pokemon. As he sat down on his chair, Alex got the small box he received today and opened it. In the small box, there were 3 large red scales that radiated warm energy. There was also a message. 3 scales from a famous professor's Charizard. Each of the 3 scales was inflicted with the fire energy of the Charizard for a week. Famous professor's Charizard? Professor Oak maybe? Doesn't matter anyway. At dinner, Alex and his Pokemon sit in their respective seats with happy expressions. Even proud Pokemon like Scizor and Crobat had a little grin on their face. Everyone was very joyful that they managed to win this tournament, and there was a festive mood around the table. Alex believed that it was probably most important to Crobat even if he didn't show it. He knows that the defeat in the Team Rocket Rookie Tournament had hurt Crobat deeply. Alex was happier for Crobat than he was for his own victory. While eating, Alex also looked at all the messages he had received from other people. He received congratulations from Lisa, Brand, Steven, and Maria. He smiled a bit when he saw the message from Maria. "So, are you famous now?" Alex dialed Maria's number and hit the call button. After hearing that Maria took the call, he said with a smile, "Hey, are you free tomorrow?" "Ian, finally." The date, laughing face. Okay, how do I best say that? Many people have very different opinions of romance in this story. I did a poll before about 50 chapters and your opinions were very different. If I remember correctly, 33% don't like the romance, 33% don't care, and 33% like the romance. Not exactly, but very close to these numbers. I'll do another poll after the 2 chapters to see what people think. I am a little interested in what people think. BTW, I want to throw my editor in front of the bus. He was one of the 33% who doesn't like romance, and look what kind of comment he wrote. Ian, finally. The date, D. So after I've successfully backstabbed my editor, I'll just say see you later. Chapter 102. Alex was waiting at a bank in Celadon City. Before the date, he had bought new clothes to look a little better. He also wore a soft scarf to protect himself against the cold wind. He also had his hair cut and styled. After looking at his more refined look, Alex suddenly felt a lot more handsome. Although he asked her out on a date yesterday, Alex wasn't very sure if she would agree. He was the one who was actively trying to build the relationship, and Maria has shown an indifferent attitude until now. Alex wasn't sure what Maria really thought of him. Alex sometimes wished he could read Maria's mind to make it easier for him to understand her. Upon the exact agreed time, a 16-year-old girl with dark red hair, blue eyes, and a voluminous figure came. She wore a light blue top, which goes very well with her eyes. Although this girl was gorgeous, no men showed interest in speaking to her because of the scary cold aura oozing out of her. It looked like she was going to kill anyone who dared to speak to her. Alex walked towards Maria with a smile. "Hey beauty, are you here alone?" Maria turned to see Alex looking at her with a smile. She said with a cold expression, "Alex, can you stop with your bad jokes? You're quite harsh to your date partner." Date partner? This is not a date. Come on, you know why I invited you here today. Can't you be a little more honest? Maria, who heard this, had an unresponsive expression when she said, "Let's go to the restaurant, that's as great as you say." Alex shook his head with a smile when he heard her reply. "Let's go. We'll be late." Alex led her gently around town. The way he was so smooth that it made Maria look at Alex with a suspicious expression. "The way you are so natural in this that it makes me think you have done it many times." Alex immediately understood what she was trying to say. He gave her his classic cheeky smile and said, but you are the only person for whom I want to do it." Maria, who heard his blunt answer, couldn't help but blush for a moment as her cheeks puffed up like a little frog. But she quickly came back to her senses. "As if I will believe that." Alex, who saw her natural reaction, showed a bright smile. "You will soon find out if I'm telling the truth or not." "What does that mean?" Maria showed a confused expression. You'll see. Maria suddenly noticed that Alex was holding her hand the entire time. Hold on, why are you holding my hand like it's the most natural thing to do? She looked at Alex with a cold expression. I can't. Humph, can't you read the atmosphere? Alex gave a confused expression when he heard this. He couldn't really understand what she meant by that. Then he noticed something and said with a little grin on his face, even though you are saying that you didn't tell me to release your hand. Maria gave a short smile when she heard Alex's answer before going back to her cold expression. Let's talk about something else. I heard you got third place in this tournament. Alex, who is now in the public eye, is not so stupid to speak the name of the tournament here. Yes, I only came third. Why do you ask? Alex saw her annoyed expression and said in a sincere tone, you don't need to be annoyed for losing against those two monsters who were groomed by their strong parents for their entire life. I would feel better if I didn't hear this from you. After she said that, it suddenly got colder as a cold wind flew in their direction. It's cold! Alex, who saw that she was feeling cold in her attire, immediately took his soft scarf to wrap it around her neck. Then he said with a smile, can I score bonus points for that? Maria showed a small playful smile. Definitely not with that bad joke. Alex noticed that Maria was opening up a bit more to him and smiled as they slowly walked to the restaurant. Alex and Maria stood by one of the most expensive and best restaurants in town. Maria saw how expensive this restaurant looked like. Isn't it too expensive? It's not a lot of money for us trainers. And I am the one paying. You can forget that. I'll pay for my own food. Can't you give a man his dignity? Paying for a woman's food is your honor? No, not for every woman. Only for you. Maria, who heard this, became quiet and walked into the restaurant with a red face. Alex, who saw how he can persuade Maria, showed a smile. At the reception, a young woman around 20+ age, with a professional suit and a friendly business smile, was standing there. She had brown hair and a large bust where Alex had to suppress his instincts to look at it longer. Hello, my name is Alex Stark. There should be a private dining room reserved by my name. Yes, you are exactly on time, sir. Please follow me, I will guide you to your room. When Maria and Alex followed the woman, Maria asked, why did you reserve an entire room? Doesn't it cost too much? Hee, to impress yourself this much is worth it. Do you think I'm a woman that you can buy? Alex suppressed his instinct to agree in a funny tone. What, of course not. I'm just trying to upgrade the date. After all, this is my first date with you. You're not going to get anything out of that praise, you know? Do you think I'm such a perverse person? Maria just looked at Alex with a look full of doubt when she heard this question. Alex remembered his first meeting with Maria and stopped talking about this topic. Chapter 103. Maria and Alex sat in a beautifully decorated dining room and waited for the food they had ordered. Alex learned from Maria's choice that Maria likes sweet things. She also seems to like pistachio ice cream very much, as she was glad to know that this restaurant offers this type of ice cream. Alex just ordered a steak for himself with the same ice cream as Maria. So what are you going to do after this tournament? Alex asked. Yesterday, Sister Lisa gave me my one and only order to become an elite trainer within 1 year. Oh, I just remembered that you don't even know that I am working for Lisa now. You now also work for Executive Lisa? And why are you calling her Sister Lisa? As far as I know, you are not sisters. We just have a good relationship. Besides, she likes it when I call her like that. They both ate and talked for an hour in a quiet room with soft music playing in the background. Alex and Maria talked about a lot of different things like Pokemon training, family, hobbies. Through these conversations and the conversations Alex had with Maria when they trained together, he now knew a little more about Maria. Maria, who was given to an orphanage by her parents, grew up without a family. She was already interested in Pokemon, so she read as many books as possible about Pokemon. When she reached the age of 16, like Alex, she was kicked out of her orphanage. The Alliance only pays for children up to 15 years of age, so the orphanages usually throw out children when they become 16 years old immediately. She didn't want to tell Alex what happened after that, which confused Alex a bit. But he didn't force her to speak regarding it. When the waiter came into the room with the bill, Alex quickly paid for the meal, so Maria couldn't say anything. Maria looked at the bill in Alex's hand. She quickly grabbed the bill from Alex when he wasn't careful. 50,000 poke dollars for a meal? Alex just smiled and said, "It's not very expensive if you factor in this room." Maria gave Alex a quick look when she said, "Didn't you tell me that you were an orphan too? Did you lie to me?" Alex showed a puzzled expression on his face. Can't orphans get rich? As a Pokemon trainer, it's easy to get that amount of money. Maria irked after listening to Alex. Although I have more money than regular trainers, the amount is not much more than you spend on a meal. You don't look like a stupid person who would give almost all of your money for a meal. So you must be quite rich. Handsome, talented, funny, and rich. Wow, you really hit the jackpot, Maria. Alex said it in a witty tone. Maria just looked at Alex with her sharp eyes when he said that in a witty tone. Alex would have thought that she didn't like this statement if he hadn't seen how she smiled a bit when he said that. Alex and Maria walked out of the restaurant and slowly walked in a particular direction. Maria didn't ask where Alex was taking her. After a short silence, Alex said, "Although I don't know much about you, I really enjoy the time we spend together, like this date." Maria slightly smiled before she said, "Yeah, this was quite fun. You really are not as bad as I thought the first time I met." She laughed after remembering the first time she met Alex. Alex, who also remembered his first meeting, said with an embarrassed tone, "Can you please not mention that?" Maria, who found something to tease Alex, just smiled maliciously. Maybe, maybe not. After a while, Alex and Maria reached a beautiful place where you can watch the sunset together. Alex held Maria's hand and watched the sun go down together. This created a romantic environment around them. Maria and Alex suddenly looked at each other at the same time. Both said nothing as their faces slowly approached. When Alex was just about to kiss Maria's lips, Maria kissed Alex's cheek and pulled her head back. Then she said with a smirk, "Do you really think that I'm such an easy girl?" Alex, who heard this, briefly showed a frustrated expression. Then after calming his mind and thinking about it a bit, he said with a smile, "Well, at least it shows me that someone is also interested." Maria blushed for a moment after hearing this. After that, she made a stoic face as she took out a Pokeball. A Pidgeot nearly 2 meters tall appeared in front of Alex. Shortly before Alex could ask where she got this Pokemon, Maria climbed on her Pokemon and flew away. Alex saw how Maria made a nice exit, couldn't help but give a wry smile. As Maria flew away, Alex looked at the information about her Pokemon. Pokemon, Pidgeot. LV, 33. Type, normal/flying. Abilities, keen eye. Gender, female. Potential, shallow gold. Moves: Tackle, Sand Attack, Gust, Mirror Move, Quick Attack, Wing Attack, Roost, Whirlwind, Agility. Innate Talent, Fly, E, Innate Talent, Roost, Innate Talent, Hyper Beam. TM, Protect, TM, Facade. Is that one of her new Pokemon? I have to ask her next time how she got such a Pokemon. Usually, it is not easy to get a gold Pokemon. Maybe it was deep silver before upgrading to gold. Anyway, I'll ask her next time. As Alex slowly walked towards his hotel, he heard the ringtone from the TRH device. When he saw that it was his executive Lisa, he immediately picked up the call. "Hey, Alex, I have good news for you." "Oh, and what could be that?" "The boss wants to see you." Chapter 104. Pewter City, Team Rocket Underground Base. Alex went to Lisa's office, accompanied by Brand. Brand talked to Alex about various things while they were walking. For example, Lars seldom leaves Lisa's office, and that Lars apparently got a relatively valuable Pokemon from Lisa. When they were only a few meters from Lisa's office, Brand turned around and said to Alex, "Okay, it was nice to talk to you. I'll be going then." After that, he walked away quickly. Alex saw how afraid Brand was of Lisa and smiled a little. Even though Lisa is a crazy, sadistic woman, she's not that bad if you know her a little bit. At least for Alex, Lisa is not as bad as the rumors say about her. Although that is probably still relatively bad. Brand stopped after walking a few meters. He turned around and said to Alex, "Ah, Alex. I have one important tip for you. Don't forget to knock before you enter Boss Lisa's office." After saying that, he immediately continued walking further away. Though Alex noticed that his walking speed was faster than before. Alex, who saw this reaction from Brand, knew that Lisa must have done something to Brand to cause such deep fear. He swallowed hard as he looked again at the door of Lisa's office, which was started to look very demonic in his head. I'm starting to react like Brand. There's no logical reason for me to be so scared, right? Did I sell my soul for a few valuable items? Alex went and knocked on the door. After a few seconds, he heard the words, "Come in." Alex, who opened the door, saw Lisa sitting on her office chair at her table and watching him with a bright smile. "Ah, here is my little lucky charm." Alex, who heard this name, showed a confused expression. "Is it because of my performance in the Kanto tournament?" Lisa replied smilingly, "No. I didn't give you this name just because of this Kanto tournament. Do you remember when you got the reward for being the first rookie who conquered his Pokemon?" Alex felt confused but still nodded. "Do you know that I was in a relatively bad mood because you weren't as cute as I was hoping?" Without waiting for Alex to answer, she continued with a smile. "Because why, you were so tough, I was in a bad mood. So I went outside to relax a bit, and when I flew with my Fiero over Viridian Forest, I found something special. Can you guess what did I find? Lugia? Oh, I like smart kids. Yes, you're right. That and this tournament is the reason why I'm sure that you are my little lucky charm." Then she started praising Alex. "Alex, this time, you really outdid yourself. The talent you showed in the Kanto Rookie Tournament really impressed the boss. You are really..." Lisa, who praised Alex for several minutes, seemed like a big sister, praising her little brother. Alex, who saw how friendly Lisa was to him, couldn't help but think about his stupid thoughts a few seconds ago. "Okay, let's talk more later. I don't want to keep the boss waiting." Then she took out a Pokeball and called her Alakazam. "Are you ready?" Alex nodded and looked at the information about Lisa's Alakazam. He wanted to see if something had changed in the last 2 months. Pokemon, Alakazam. LV, 50. Attributes, Psychic. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves. Disable, Kinesis, Teleport, Psybeam, Ally Switch, Psycho Cut, Recover, Psyshock, Role Play, Future Sight. Innate Talent, Substitute, Innate Talent, Reflect, Innate Talent, Psychic, TM, Fire Punch, TM, Ice Punch, TM, Thunder Punch, TM, Hyper Beam, TM, Light Screen, TM, Protect, TM, Calm Mind. Alex, who saw that Lisa's Alakazam is now on the Shallow Gold rank, wasn't surprised at all. Lisa, who can produce Psychic-type items, poor Lugia, and is promoted, will now have many ways to improve her Alakazam. Although it is considerably challenging to improve a Pokemon after Gold, Lisa should have no problem bringing her main Pokemon to the Shallow Gold rank with her resources. What really surprised Alex is that her level has gone up so slowly. After almost 2 months, the level only increased by 1. Alex, who saw this, could now understand why some famous trainers say, elite rank is the beginning. Alex, who was lost in his thoughts, teleported out of Lisa's office. After Alex was teleported from Lisa's office, Lisa looked down and said softly, "Carry on." Ah, good boy. Alex suddenly appeared in a large and beautifully decorated hallway. This hallway looked very classy and of high quality as many beautiful pictures hang on the wall. There were only one elevator and one door at the opposite ends of the hallway leading to the outside. Alex, who was teleported just a few meters in front of the high-quality door, could imagine that the boss was waiting for him behind this door. Without thinking further, Alex knocked on the door. "Come in." An imposing voice came from inside. Alex gulped and opened the door in front of him. A middle-aged man with a short haircut was sitting at his chair behind a large bureau table. Next to the man was a large Persian who was passively being stroked by the man. Chapter 105. Pokemon, Persian. LV, 59. Type, Normal. Abilities, Technician. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Gold. Moves: Bite, Fake Out, E, Growl, Scratch, Bite, Taunt, E, Payday, Feint, Fury Swipes, Screech, Swift, E, Power Gem, Slash, Nasty Plot, E, Assurance, Captivate. Innate Talent, Shadow Ball, E, Innate Talent, Thunderbolt, E, Innate Talent, Hyper Beam, M. TM, Protect, TM, Facade, TM, Rest, TM, Roar, TM, Toxic, TM, Hidden Power, E, TM, Double Team, TM, Aerial Ace, TM, Giga Impact, TM, Thief, TM, Substitute, TM, Sleep Talk. Alex thought after seeing this, is this really a pet and not a Pokemon of an Elite Four member? The fact that he has 7 expert moves and 1 master move is just monstrous. No wonder Giovanni doesn't have a bodyguard around him. Who needs them when you have a monster sitting around you? Giovanni saw Alex making a shocked expression when he saw his Persian and showed a satisfied smirk. This smile quickly went away and was replaced by a dignified expression. "Alex Stark, right? Sit." Alex, who heard this, sat down immediately without thinking much. He didn't want to accidentally offend Giovanni and make a poor impression. Giovanni took the report that was on his table and looked at Alex like he was analyzing him. Alex Stark. Age 16. No living relatives. Lived at the Van Orphanage in Pewter City for 15 years. He paused briefly before continuing with a neutral expression on his face. Talent value, 88 before, but now uncertain. Intelligence, very high, but difficult to assess. Loyalty, unknown. Mental state, stable but difficult to assess. He stopped talking for a second before continuing. Pokemon. Crobat, estimated level 35 to 38, estimated potential S. Sizer, estimated level 35 to 38, estimated potential S. Curlia, estimated level 30 to 33, estimated potential S. Ditto, estimated level, estimated potential. Sheldon, estimated level, estimated potential. After he had said that, he looked at Alex, who was getting more and more nervous. Giovanni said with a little smile, impressive. Along with this, the way you won against Mason, Junichi, and Misty, who were stronger than you, really impressed me. Alex tried to keep a calm expression when he said sincerely, "Thank you, boss." Giovanni gave a friendly smile when he said, "Why so serious? I just want to find out a little more about you by reading this list. Do you know that I am particularly good at reading other people when they lie? This skill is one of the reasons why I reached the position where I am today." Alex didn't know whether Giovanni was speaking the truth or not. But he didn't really want to find that out. By the way, you shouldn't think that I can't handle the truth. As long as you're not an Alliance spy, I can promise you that I won't harm you as long as you really tell me what you're thinking. Are you ready for my questions? Alex, who has an indifference for Team Rocket and the Alliance, knew that Giovanni wouldn't have any particular problem with that fact. Knowing the personalities of his direct subordinates, Giovanni should be a very friendly boss as long as you are useful and don't exceed his line. There is a reason why he is so popular among his subordinates. When Alex nodded, Giovanni asked, "What is your attitude towards Team Rocket?" Alex wanted to say positively but didn't risk lying to Giovanni. Neutral. Giovanni only nodded to this answer. Giovanni knows that no one would be instantly loyal to him. Loyalty takes time to build. He can take his time to make sure that Alex is faithful and useful to Team Rocket. What is your attitude towards the Alliance? Neutral, but with a slight contempt. Giovanni, who heard this answer, showed a friendly smile as if he knew that Alex was telling the truth. Good, very good. Do you know how rare it is that I get such a talented newbie? Alex, who suddenly felt a friendly aura from Giovanni, let out a deep breath. This pressure really wasn't easy to bear. Thank you, boss. But I know that I'm still quite weak. No need to be humble around me. I know that you got your first Pokemon only about 2 months ago. In my estimation, you will probably become an elite trainer in a month or 2. If you manage to become an elite trainer within 4 months, you will be even faster than me. Alex smiled slightly and thanked him for his praise. Giovanni suddenly got serious again and said with a neutral expression, "Unfortunately, you made a small mistake by winning this tournament." Alex thought for a few seconds before saying, "Are you talking about the Alliance, boss?" Giovanni was nodded with a stern expression. "Yes, now that you have won, the Alliance will check whether you are really a normal citizen trainer or not." Alex, who overheard this, made a serious expression when he said, "But how is the Alliance going to find out?" Giovanni, who heard this question, showed a little smile. Of course, they have no way to find out immediately with 100% certainty. Also, the Alliance takes its time to check several things. But if you are actively trying to find a high position in the Alliance, they'll ask you questions in an interview. For example, they will ask you where do you get your money for your Pokemon food, training items, and valuable items in general. Normally, they will not ask where you got your Pokemon from because many catch their Pokemon from the wild, which is not surprising. Not to mention, you don't have a super rare Pokemon species. Alex replied in a confident manner, "Boss, I've already thought about an excuse." Giovanni raised an eyebrow hearing this. "Oh, tell me about it." Alex knew that Giovanni probably wanted to test him with this. "I made a very influential friend, to whom I did a favor. This friend rewarded me with many valuable items. I will say that I got the money from these items. The statement that I have an influential friend and that he gave me valuable items for my help is true. Only that I sold the items for money is not true. But this statement is almost impossible to check." Giovanni showed a slight expression of disappointment when listening. Although it sounded relatively good, it has one major flaw. Is that your plan? Alex understood why Giovanni was disappointed when he said with a smile, almost, "Boss. If the Alliance tries to verify my statement, they will find out what is wrong with it. They will likely ask how I got money before this. And I will only answer that questions with the words like every other trainer and refuse to answer any further. After all, I am not a criminal, so I am not obliged to answer. Most trainers get money from missions in the Alliance or from selling Pokemon on the black market. Although the Alliance prohibits the sale of Pokemon without permission, it's more of a gray area than an actual law." "Oh, I see. Trap within a trap. Pretty good plan. Thank you, boss. Unfortunately, I have a problem. Some Team Rocket members have seen my face that makes it unlikely that the Alliance will trust me. Although the testimony of low Team Rocket members is not worth much, it is still very suspicious if more than a few members say it." Giovanni smiled when he said, "Well, I can do something about that." Chapter 106. Giovanni paused for a second before continuing, "I'll just send some members who have broken my rules to a mission. And tell them that I'll give them a new chance if they successfully complete this mission. At the mission, some Team Rocket members will happen to see one subordinate wearing a ditto mask of Misty. After they try to accomplish the impossible mission and fail, they will be arrested by the Alliance. When the Alliance realizes that Misty is very likely not a Rocket Team member, they will think that Team Rocket was trying to accuse the future talented trainers of the Alliance." Giovanni said with an indifferent face, "After that, they will greatly reduce the credibility of low-level Team Rocket members. Although this method cannot be used with high-level Team Rocket members, it doesn't matter because you only met 3 high-level Team Rocket members: Lisa, Brand, and Maria, who recently became a captain. The likelihood that one of these 3 would be so stupid to sell you out to the Alliance is almost zero. And even if either of them does, the Alliance is unlikely to believe it 100%. Alex, who heard this, got little goosebumps. Giovanni apparently has no problem sacrificing his useless pieces for useful ones. And these pieces are not game figures. Although it's not surprising that Giovanni would do something like that, the thought itself was very unsettling. Besides, Alex knows that Giovanni didn't tell him everything. The Alliance actually has 2 options to respond to the accusation of the low Team Rocket members. First, they will lower the credibility of these kinds of statements from that moment and allow Alex to infiltrate them more easily. Or second, they will have a slight distrust of Misty and thus lose one of their future geniuses. No matter what the Alliance does, Giovanni benefits from it. Giovanni didn't wait for an answer and continued speaking with an indifferent tone. Although that can solve this problem relatively well, you always have to enter the Team Rocket base with a new face. Fortunately, you already have Ditto, so I think that is not a problem. Giovanni took out a new ID card with a new face and name. He gave it to Alex and said, "I will also speak to the 3 high-ranking members regarding this, so they will know about your situation." When he saw Alex taking the ID card, he said, "As of today, Alex Stark's data in Team Rocket has been completely deleted. Although only a few people have access to it, it is better to play it safe, right?" Alex agreed with this statement and thanked Giovanni for the effort he put in. "Okay, enough about that. I still have a reward for you." Giovanni took out a piece of paper and a map from the drawer and wordlessly handed it to Alex. Alex saw that the map is of an island that harbors a lot of strong and rare Pokémon. Giovanni looked at Alex and said with a faint smile, "I have no job for you as you are not strong enough yet. Thus you are free for now. But you still have a lot to do." Giovanni glanced at the map while speaking the last sentence. Then he ignored Alex as he continued to look at his papers. Alex, who saw this, understood that this chat was over and he should go. In addition, it was an indirect tip that he can get stronger faster on this island. Giovanni knows that Alex wants to get stronger quickly, so he doesn't even have to tell anything about this to Alex specifically. This indirect type of manipulation is quite impressive. He politely said goodbye to Giovanni, who continued to ignore him when Alex walked out the door. Alex, who came out of the door, saw Lisa's Alakazam in the hallway. He appeared to be waiting for Alex. Alakazam quickly went to Alex and, without waiting, teleported both of them from the hallway. Alex and Alakazam suddenly appeared outside of Lisa's office. Alex, who saw this, had a confused expression, and he looked in the direction of Alakazam. He thought that he would appear again in Lisa's room, which made him a little bemused. Alakazam showed a helpless face when she saw Alex's questioning gaze. She showed a gesture saying that Alex can go now. Alex, who didn't receive a reply from Alakazam, showed a curious expression on his face as he slowly left. Although Alex knew that he would probably see something extreme if he went to Lisa's office, he thought about what Lisa would do to him if he really did that. And he started walking away faster. After all, Alex could already predict what Lisa might be doing in her office after thinking about it a little bit now. And he would rather avoid seeing that. Alex entered the room and saw that Sizer, who was supposed to take care of the Pokemon egg, was standing in front of the TV and watching it while exercising. When he saw that, he knew that it was better to let Curlia take care of the Pokemon egg. Even Ditto would be better than Sizer as a babysitter. Unfortunately, he needs the teleporting ability and the ability to change his face to save himself in an emergency. So he had chosen Sizer as the babysitter. He doesn't expect much from Sizer. Just that when the egg hatches, Torchic doesn't find itself alone. Alex looked rather annoyed at the Sizer that was training. When he saw that the egg had not yet hatched, he felt a little better. Alex wasn't mad at Sizer but at himself for the fact that he couldn't take care of the egg. He made up his mind not to go and train here until the egg hatch. In this expensive hotel, there is also a Pokemon training room that you can rent to train. Alex and his Pokemon just finished their hard training session, and it was time to relax. But Alex suddenly heard the sound of something cracking. He turned his face and found the Pokemon egg 1 meter away from him had started hatching. Torchic, who came out of its egg, looked at its surroundings with a curious look. This newborn Torchic was only 20 centimeters long, half the size of a fully grown Torchic. Alex took Torchic in his hand and said with a bright smile, "Welcome to this world, Torchic." Torchic just curiously looked at Alex. When it felt the warmth from Alex's hands, it lay down on Alex's hands and looked at him. Alex put it on his lap and took the Moo Moo milk bottle out of his TRH device. Then he started feeding Torchic like a little baby. After Torchic drank half the bottle, it slowly closed its eyes and slept on Alex's lap. Alex saw that he couldn't get up now, showed no annoyed expression. He looked at the info of his new family member. Pokemon, Torchic. LV, 1. Type, Fire. Abilities, Speed Boost, Hidden Ability. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move. Growl, Unusable, Scratch, Unusable, Ember, Unusable. Innate Talent, Attract, Unusable, Innate Talent, Sunny Day, Unusable, Innate Talent, Overheat, Unusable. Alex saw the info of Torchic and made a surprised face. Shallow Gold? Speed Boost? Female? Attract. Chapter 107. When Alex lifted his head, he saw all of his Pokemon staring curiously at the sleeping Torchic. Sizer and Crobat showed no emotion on their face, but their curious eyes betrayed them. In contrast to Sizer and Crobat, Kirlia, Ditto, and Sheldon openly showed their joy about the new member. Kirlia was especially happy that she is finally not the only female in this group. Though she didn't say anything, she was looking forward to talking to Torchic. Alex said quietly, "I can understand your joy, but we will wait until Torchic wakes up before we say hello." Sizer said, "Humph," says the guy who has already said his hello. Kirlia heard what Sizer was saying, and Alex could hear a voice over telepathy. Alex showed a surprised expression when he heard Sizer's reply. He didn't think Sizer would be so jealous just because he had talked to her first. Could it be that he wanted to build a good relationship with the other fighting-type Pokemon? Could it be that you were looking for a sparring partner? Sizer made a surprised face. "What are you talking about? Why should I fight a baby?" "No, I mean that you want to fight another fighting-type Pokemon in the long run." He just ignored Alex and started his training again. Alex just smiled seeing this, and thought, why do I feel very respected and not respected at the same time? Crobat went to Sizer to indicate that he had assured the win in this tournament. In contrast, Sizer told Crobat that he did not fight the strongest Pokemon and should keep his mouth shut. Then they started arguing relatively quietly with each other. Alex, who saw that they were showing consideration for Torchic by bickering quietly, didn't say anything and just smiled slightly. He forgot for a moment that these two Pokemon have probably killed more creatures than a serial killer. Sheldon, who is the youngest and is still a child in human years, showed a great curiosity when he looked at Torchic. Alex saw this and said with a smile, "Sheldon, you are a big brother now. So you should always take care of your little sister from now on." Sheldon showed a surprised expression when he heard these words, but after a few seconds showed a serious expression. But because of his small size and age, this serious expression looked incredibly cute. Kirlia, who saw this expression, couldn't help but stroke Sheldon's head. Sheldon did nothing and let Kirlia stroke him with a happy face. Alex, who saw this, could only shake his head. He just hoped that Sheldon took his words seriously. He saw how it was quiet again and took out his TRH device to check if there was anything interesting to buy. Even though he had spent a lot of money in the past few weeks, especially after buying the TM Sandstorm, he still had a lot of money left. During the 12 days in this city, he sold a lot of silver Pokemon and made a quick buck. Although his money was slowly becoming scarce, he can always get more money by going to a new city's black market to buy and sell silver Pokemon. Alex's money: 359,800 TR points. 233,000 Poke Dollars. While looking through the items from the Team Rocket shop, he checked the limited items section. Among all the relatively useless things, one item piqued Alex's interest. Heart of an Elite Raticate, 10 out of 20. Price: 25,000 TR points. Even though it's just an item from Raticate, it was valuable to him. Every heart from a strong Pokemon is quite helpful, especially from elite Pokemon and higher. Alex looked at Ditto, who was playing chess against Kirlia, and knew that he can probably increase Ditto's potential with this. Although it was expensive and buying another silver Pokemon would be more efficient, Alex was willing to pay that money. He paid 250,000 TR points and waited to receive a transfer request. Now that his TRH device could teleport small items, he no longer has to go to the Team Rocket base to receive the items. After 20 minutes, Alex received a request to transfer an item. Alex put his TRH device on the table and accepted the request. After just a second, a small box could be seen on the table. Alex moved the box and accepted the next request. After repeating this 9 times, there were 10 boxes on Alex's table. He opened one of these boxes and saw a bloody heart lying inside. It had a cold aura like it was just taken out from the refrigerator. Alex didn't lose any time and put 9 of these hearts in his TRH device. He knows that the temperature of the items stored in the TRH device doesn't change, though he never cared about how and why. He went to Ditto and said with a smile, "Hey, Ditto. I found a way to increase your potential a bit." Ditto showed a surprised and happy expression as he quickly ran, like a puppy in the direction of Alex. Alex opened the box and put a heart in front of Ditto, who absorbed it in his body without hesitation. It looked like slime was slowly dissolving its prey. Although this process was very sluggish, Ditto managed to absorb the heart. Alex knew that he probably had not increased Ditto's potential, but he still checked the info. Pokemon, Ditto. LV, 32. Type, normal. Abilities, imposter, hidden ability. Gender, genderless. Potential, shallow silver. Move, innate talent, transform, E. Although he expected that, he couldn't help but be disappointed. Alex could only hope that he can increase Ditto's potential with the other 9 hearts. Although only 1 heart can be eaten per day in order to make the most out of it, 9 days are not really long for Alex. Chapter 108. 8 days later. It was breakfast time for Alex and his Pokemon. The atmosphere around the Pokemon was relatively good. They were looking forward to finally leaving this hotel and going to this island. The map and papers that Giovanni gave to Alex lead to a remote island in the middle of the ocean. The island is relatively easy to reach if you went to Fuchsia City and followed the papers with the help of a water-type or flying-type Pokemon. Although Crobat cannot carry Alex for very long, a few hours should not be a problem. The map is, of course, a map of the whole island. It also has marked the dangerous areas and rare Pokemon that can be found there. Even though it is only a map, this information can be very valuable for trainers who want to catch good Pokemon and become stronger relatively faster. There are 23 different areas on the map, all of which are divided into green, orange, and red according to the danger level. Each of these areas has a strong Pokemon or a Pokemon group that controls it. If an area is green, it doesn't mean that there are no hazards in this area. It just means that there is no particularly powerful Pokemon or unknown dangers. As long as you have 3 Pokemon with an average level of 30, you should be able to pass this area safely, even without a Pokemon that can determine the danger earlier. Of course, you won't be able to find any valuable items or rare Pokemon. Orange area means that there are more elite ranked Pokemon in this area and other dangerous. While it's relatively safe if you know what you're doing, it's not impossible to die there if you're not careful enough. The recommended strength for trainers is at least one elite Pokemon, a faster flying type Pokemon, and a Pokemon that is skillful in detecting other Pokemon. The red area is relatively unexplored and has unknown danger. It doesn't mean that this area is necessarily more dangerous than an orange area, but it has the risk of running into a level 60 Pokemon there with bad luck. The areas are labeled this way. Area 1 hashtag. Danger level, green. Pokemon leader, mid-elite Butterfree, strong, but does not attack trainers unprovoked. Rare Pokemon, none. Rare items, none. Area 13 hashtag. Danger level, orange. Pokemon leader, low elite Houndoom, very fast and aggressive. Rare Pokemon, Houndoom, Natu. Rare items, white apricorn. Area 17 hashtag. Danger level, red. Pokemon leader? Rare Pokemon, Aaron? Rare items? Low elite equals level 40 to 49. Mid elite equals level 50 to 54. High elite equals level 55 to 59. Alex, who is going to go to Fuchsia City today, was already looking forward to what valuable Pokemon he will find on this island. In these 8 days in this hotel, Torchic had grown enough to start training. Although Alex didn't want to send her into a direct fight yet, he could now use at least light training for Torchic. Of course, not only Torchic had gotten stronger but his other Pokemon too. Though Crobat and Scizor were still at level 35. Pokemon, Crobat. LV, 35. Type, Poison/Flying. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, male. Potential, gold. Moves. Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent, Shadow Ball, E, Innate Talent, Fly, E, Innate Talent, Cross Poison. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Taunt. Pokemon, Scizor. LV, 35. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, male. Potential, gold. Moves. Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent, Roost, E, Innate Talent, Metal Claw, E, Innate Talent, Brick Break. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Thief, TM, Facade, TM, Giga Impact, TM, U-Turn, TM, Sandstorm, TM, Substitute. Pokemon, Kirlia. LV, 31. Type, Psychic/Fairy. Abilities, Telepathy. Gender, female. Potential, gold. Move. Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic. Innate Talent, Disable, E, Innate Talent, Calm Mind, E, Innate Talent, Dazzling Gleam. TM, Protect, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Will-O-Wisp, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Thunder Wave, TM, Helping Hand. Pokemon, Ditto. LV, 32. Type, normal. Abilities, Imposter, Hidden Ability. Gender, genderless. Potential, silver. Move, Innate Talent, Transform, E. Pokemon, Sheldon. LV, 26. Type, Rock/Steel. Abilities, Sturdy. Gender, male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move. Protect, Tackle, Taunt, Metal Sound, Takedown, Iron Defense, Swagger. Innate Talent, Rock Polish, E, Innate Talent, Sleep Talk, Innate Talent, Flamethrower. Pokemon, Torchic. LV, 5. Type, Fire. Abilities, Speed Boost, Hidden Ability. Gender, female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move, Growl, Scratch, Ember. Innate Talent, Attract, Innate Talent, Sunny Day, Innate Talent, Overheat. Alex started receiving 3 liters of Lugia blood and 1 Lugia scales with psychic power per day from Lisa, 30 days ago. He gave Kirlia and Crobat the items every day so that they could hopefully improve their potential. After 27 days, Crobat managed to reach the gold rank. And Kirlia managed to get to the gold rank after 29 days with the help of the scales. Although Crobat had already increased its potential, Alex continued to give the blood from Lugia to Crobat to make it even easier to increase Crobat's potential later on. Kirlia was a different case. Alex no longer gave the Lugia scales to Kirlia to absorb the psychic powers. He wanted to save it for when Kirlia evolves so that he can increase her potential more effortlessly. Although he knows that Kirlia will only absorb a small number of scales during the evolution process, it is still much more effective. Besides, he can use the remaining scales later anyway when Kirlia has evolved into Gardevoir. Ditto also managed to improve his potential after absorbing 8 heart, which made Alex very happy. Unfortunately, not all Pokémon were able to rank up as Alex had hoped. Although Sheldon ate the 30 pieces of steel and rock from S-Talent Agron every day, he couldn't improve his potential. Although Alex still has the steel plate from an S-Talent Agron on the champion rank, Alex didn't want to use it. He decided to use it when Sheldon evolves. Alex guessed that Sheldon probably has 99 out of 100 points on the shallow gold rank and doesn't need much to get on the gold rank. You could say he is half-step gold rank, being just 1 step away from reaching the gold rank. Though that's just a theory of Alex, and it's hard to prove. Although Scizor evolved faster, keep in mind that he ate the lance and 30 pieces of steel, which makes it difficult to determine if Scizor could have improved his potential without eating the lance. If he had known that Sheldon just needs a little more, he would have given the rest of the steel pieces from Scizor after he has evolved and not fed them to Scizor every day. But Alex shook his head after having this thought. I can't foresee something like that, and it would also be very unfair to Scizor because of the possibility of making his next potential improvement more difficult. Chapter 109. Alex, Kirlia, and Crobat walked the streets of Celadon City with happy expressions. The victory had specifically improved the mood of Crobat and Alex, thus making Kirlia even more joyful, which led to this situation. While leaving, all passers-by looked in the direction of Alex with a curious gaze, and a few children went to Alex asking for an autograph. As the winner of the Kanto Rookie Tournament, Alex is now a minor celebrity, especially in the city where this tournament took place. Alex felt a bit annoyed that he was wasting his time but fulfilled the children's wish and gave each of these children an autograph. Alex, who also wanted to have a good position in the Alliance, wouldn't want to be appeared unfriendly. He has to maintain his image from now on. Although Alex is a Team Rocket member, he has not ruled out the option of switching to the Alliance's side if it's worthwhile. Team Rocket and the Alliance are only tools for Alex to become stronger and can be replaced at any time if necessary. Of course, he has to consider the consequences of that before doing it. It would be ideal for Alex if he can have a high position in both organizations, so that he can draw the double amount of advantages. After giving the autographs, he looked at Crobat. Crobat, who understood what Alex wanted to do, flapped his wings suddenly that created a little gust of wind, and people made some space for them. After that, Alex and Kirlia sat on top of Crobat, and Crobat took off. Alex, who looked at the ground and saw that he is around 50 meters high, showed no fear. Although it was very high, he knew that it is not dangerous. Alex knows that Crobat can fly faster than the speed he can fall, which allows Alex not to be afraid of accidentally falling down. Crobat preventing the strong headwind made it a smooth and comfortable flight. When Alex was flying with Crobat towards Fuchsia City, he noticed many flying-type Pokémon like Pidgey and Spearow flying in groups. And each of these groups had a strong leader who led their group, like Fearow and Pidgeot. Alex, who was relatively far away, looked at the information about each of these Pokémon and found any Pokémon special. Although there were a few silver Pokemon in the groups, it was not worth it for Alex to provoke these groups for them. Especially when you consider the fact that the leader of each of these groups was at a higher level than Crobat. Along with that, Alex could only use Crobat, who knew Fly. And Crobat was carrying him, so it was almost impossible to win. Although he could attack and lure this group to the ground, it was relatively risky and not worth it. Especially when you consider that he has to defend against a large group of Pokemon too. Fighting against a group that is not much weaker than is incredibly dangerous. As long as you are not 10 or 15 levels higher than all of them, you should avoid such fights. They were now flying over the water, and Alex noticed Crobat looking at the water like inspecting something. The calm surface of the water hides a lot of powerful and valuable Pokemon that are just waiting to be found. Unfortunately for Alex, who does not have a water Pokemon and an underwater suit, it was dangerous to go close to the water. Although it's a shame because Alex has the ability to quickly discover the valuable water-type Pokemon in this ocean, it was not possible for him currently. I'll probably come later when I have a strong water-type Pokemon that can protect me underwater. After 2 hours, Alex, who was sitting on Crobat and flying over the ocean, saw a relatively large island in the middle of the sea. Alex took out his map and compared the island to the one drawn on the map. This must be the island on the map. Crobat landed on the coast. The coast was a green area, which is a good place to land. Alex felt a little better after finally getting on the solid ground. Flying in the air for 2 straight hours is really not easy, even if you know that it is relatively safe. He immediately took out all of his Pokemon and warned them of the dangers on this island. Alex bought 2 months of food for himself and his Pokemon, so that they can train here for 2 months without having to fly back. He looked directly at the map to find out more information in front of this area. Area 3 #. Danger level, green. Pokemon leader, low elite Kingler, strong, but relatively slow on land. Rare Pokemon, none. Rare items, none. He looked around the coast to see if he could notice any Pokemon from here. After a bit, he looked like a large group of Krabby and Kinglers sunbathing at the seashore. Although Alex was very far away. But fortunately, Alex could see all Pokemon's information within sight and didn't have to get any closer. There's 14 Krabby and 5 Kingler. The Krabby are generally around levels 5 to 29 and have decent potential, that being deep normal through silver. 4 Kinglers are between shallow bronze and silver and are between levels 26 to 35. The leader of this group was quite formidable. Pokemon, Kingler. LV, 39. Type, water. Abilities, Hypercutter. Gender, female. Potential, deep silver. Move. Bubble, Mud Sport, Vice Grip, Leer, Harden, Bubble Beam, Mud Shot, Metal Claw, Stomp. Innate Talent, X Scissor, E. Chapter 110. Level 39 shows that this Kingler is not the leader of this area. But, she is of the same species as the leader of this area. So it is safe to assume that she is somehow related to the leader. Alex thought of an idea. He slowly walked with his Pokemon in the direction of the group of this Pokemon bathing in the sun. Kingler, the leader, showed a wary expression as she saw Alex and his Pokemon getting closer. Kingler is a relatively hostile Pokemon species. It's not a Pokemon that doesn't respond to provocations. She immediately showed a ready-to-fight expression when she saw that Alex was only 15 meters away. Alex just smiled and said, "Hello there. I am not looking for any trouble. I have come here just to suggest something if you are willing to listen." Kingler answered in the Pokemon language, and Alex understood it immediately via telepathy of Kirlia. "What do you want?" Alex was happy to see that this Kingler was willing to listen to him. "I want to trade some of the items of your collection." Kingler is known to collect glittering things, so Alex thought this group must have found many treasures in the sea which can be useful. Although most things are probably worthless, he doesn't think all of these items are useless. Kingler gave a sour expression as she yelled, "You want my treasure?" You can forget about that right away. This won't happen. Alex, who was expecting this, brought out a large bag of excellent Pokemon food. Excellent Pokemon food is one of the few edible items for almost all Pokemon in this world. Even ghost Pokemon can relatively enjoy this food. While it's not as effective and tasty as the food for a specific Pokemon species, it's not much worse either. Like the food from the excellent food line, after long periods of eating, it can also improve the potential of a Pokemon that eats it. He had bought excellent Pokemon food enough to last for 6 months, so that he can give the best food immediately to the Pokemon he caught. But now that he saw a Kingler, he thought of this good idea. Alex continued explaining his proposition. But I probably have something you would be interested in. Here, try it. He took out a small pouch and threw it in the direction of Kingler. Kingler recognized that this was not an attack and immediately caught it. She opened the bag with her claws and peeked curiously to see what's inside. When she saw food, she looked disappointed in the direction of Alex. Just food? You want to swap my treasures for food? She started getting angry at the end of the sentence. Even though it's food, it's a high-quality food that you've never eaten. Plus, after a long period of eating, it can improve the potential of a Pokemon. I think you should understand how valuable this food is. Kingler was amazed for a moment after hearing this. Really? How can I know that you are not lying to steal my treasures with your food? You, humans, are known for your lies. I can't put my trust in you. Alex, who heard this, showed a solemn expression. You can easily find this out by eating the food. Although it may not improve your potential immediately, you should notice that this food improves your body slightly. Although I recommend giving it to a member of your group with poor potential, so that it is easier to distinguish whether it can improve the potential or not. Kingler showed a thoughtful expression when she heard these words from Alex's mouth. She took the food that Alex gave her and gave it to one of her nephew, whose potential was bad. Alex saw the Kingler giving the food to a deep normal Krabby and smiled. The worse the potential is, the more apparent the effect of the food will be. And with a little bit of luck, Krabby might turn into shallow bronze Krabby this moment. The level 5 Krabby ate the food and suddenly felt his whole body getting stronger. He was thrilled with his newfound strength. Kingler was very good at assessing the potential of her species. She recognized that her nephew had really improved his potential right away. She showed a serious expression and looked in the direction of Alex's Pokemon. When she realized that Alex was a bit too strong to rob safely, she said, "Okay, I'm ready to trade. What do you want for the food?" I'm not sure. Please show me what you've got." Kingler nodded and asked the second strongest Kingler to fetch her treasure. The Kingler immediately went into the water. It will take a while before he brings my treasures here. Alex nodded and said, "No problem. While we wait, we can have our younger family members fight each other for combat experience. What do you say?" Kingler looked at the Torchic and nodded. Then she said something to the Krabby, who had just become a shallow bronze Pokemon. Krabby nodded and stood in front of the group in a ready-to-fight stance. Pokemon, Krabby. LV, 5. Type, Water. Abilities, Hypercutter. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Bronze. Move, Bubble, Mud Sport, Vice Grip. Chapter 111. Alex looked at Torchic with a kind smile and said, "Do you want to fight this Pokemon?" Torchic, who has been very active since her birth, would annoy Alex several times a day. Thus he thought that he should look for a fight for her. So when she finally heard that Alex allowed her to fight, she showed an excited expression and ran around excitedly. Alex had expected this kind of behavior from her and could only give a wry smile. If Alex could describe Torchic's personality in one word, it would be playful. Torchic walked in front of Alex's group and got ready for the fight. Although Alex hadn't allowed her to fight, he had explained a lot about fighting, so she knows at least basic knowledge. Kirlia walked between both Pokemon and gave the signal to start the fight. Torchic, let's start with Attract. Alex, who doesn't know exactly how the move attract works in this world, wanted to test it immediately against this Pokemon. Alex cannot imagine that Torchic being able to use this move effectively against elite Pokemon. Like Disable, Growl, and Confuse Ray in this world, this move definitely has some requirements to work. Krabby, who seems to be fighting for the first time, looked curiously at Torchic and didn't immediately use a move. Kingler got furious after seeing this and started shouting at Krabby, who just wasted crucial time. Krabby got a little nervous after getting yelled at and started preparing Bubble. Torchic quickly managed to use Attract, and Krabby stopped doing anything and just looked at Torchic with a mesmerized expression. Alex saw that Krabby was doing nothing except looking in the direction of Torchic and was amazed. The power of Attract is better than he thought. Although this move has specific requirements to work correctly, it can be very helpful in a battle if the opponent is hit by it. While the fight was on, Torchic noticed that her feet were getting lighter and lighter, and looked perplexedly at her feet. This is the first time she felt that she was suddenly becoming faster for no reason. Speed boost in this world only works when a Pokemon is in a fight and is immediately reset when the fight is over, which didn't make it as strong as Alex had hoped. But even with this disadvantage, Speed Boost is probably one of the best skills in the world. Torchic, use Sunny Day! Torchic heard Alex and started using Sunny Day. After a few seconds, Alex felt that it was getting a bit warm, but he noticed that the sun was still covered by the clouds, which meant that this move does not affect the real sun. Krabby, who was still looking in the direction of Torchic, showed no signs of waking up. Alex thought that it might be hard to wake up from Attract if the Pokemon is not harmed. He decided to do many tests with the move Attract later in order to find out exactly. The knowledge of how and when a move works are one of the most fundamental requirements of a trainer. Torchic, use Overheat. Krabby, who had a terrible SP def of 25, probably couldn't take this strong attack even if he is a water-type Pokemon. Torchic gathered all the fire energy in her body and sent a big ball of flame, similar to the soccer ball, towards Krabby, who just snapped out of Torchic's Attract. Krabby could not evade this attack and was hit by this attack, which led him to pass out the next moment. Fortunately, Pokemon heal relatively quickly, so the leader showed no concern for Krabby's injury. Normally, Pokemon can only take permanent damage if they are unconscious or overwork their bodies and keep fighting like Crobat in the finale. Kingler took Krabby and gave him to another Kingler who was protecting him while he was unconscious. Although Kingler is a Pokemon that can value strength, they don't mistreat losers. Alex walked towards the tired Torchic and started praising her for her great fight. Torchic, who had heard so many compliments from Alex for the first time, brightly smiled as she listened. She jumped on Alex's red cape when she noticed that she was getting tired and made herself comfortable on Alex's head. Alex was completely surprised by Torchic's action and didn't know for a moment what to do. Torchic being on his head doesn't bother him much, and it doesn't make it difficult for him to move around. But it felt like his respect as a trainer was being violated. Although he can bring her down and yell for her actions, Alex thought that it was unnecessary. Curlia also really enjoyed sitting on his shoulder when she was a kid, Ralts. So Torchic probably wants to do that, too. Is this how it feels to have kids? I may have a weak spot for young Pokemon. Crobat, who saw this scene, laughed out loud. But shortly after a few seconds, he suddenly stopped and thought, hey, am I imagining it, or is our trainer nicer to Torchic than to me? Sizer, who didn't want to miss the chance to make fun of Crobat, said, of course he is. No idea why you're making such a stupid comment. Unless you want to be treated like a child. Well, that will suit your mental age. Ha ha ha. Ditto, who is usually shy, said, I think that's because she's a female. Although I don't quite get it, our trainers seem to treat female Pokemon better. Sheldon had a curious expression when he asked, oh, is that really so? Brother Sizer, do you know why he's doing this? Hey, why are you asking those barbecue taunts when the smart Pokemon is in front of you? Sizer was instantly annoyed. You're just the most arrogant Pokemon, so shut up. To answer your question. As Sizer talked, Crobat cut him off, and they both started insulting each other. Curlia, who had been listening to this conversation in silence until now, could only shake her head with helplessness. She looked in the direction of Sheldon and said, "I hope you don't take after these two elder brothers of ours and behave responsibly." Sheldon nodded to his big sister but still looked interestingly at the two quarreling Pokemon. Curlia and Ditto could only breathe a helpless sigh. Chapter 112. 10 minutes later, the Kingler, whom the leader had sent away, came from the sea with the treasure chest on his back. Alex, who saw this treasure chest, suppressed his greed to steal the whole treasure chest. He thought about the pros and cons, and in the end, decided not to try to rob this group. This group is much stronger than the collective power of Alex's Pokemon, so that even with careful tactics, it is tough to win safely. Besides, Alex was going to stay on this island for a long time, so he can even trade items with this group several times. Why should he bear all these disadvantages for the benefit of saving a little money? Kingler took the chest and placed it in front of Alex. Then the female leader said, "Okay. Here it is. See if you can find something that interests you." For Kingler, these items are useless. They collect it as a hobby. Kinda like James's hobby of collecting bottle caps. When you can swap these useless items for food that can increase the potential, there is not much to think about. Ian, I couldn't help myself from inserting a JoJo meme. Yar yar. Alex, who looked inside the chest, found a lot of useless stuff. Scales, shells, and pearls make up the majority of the contents of this chest. Although the pearls can be sold for a relatively good price, there were no big pearls that could earn a large amount of money. What made Alex's day was finding 3 water stones and a king's rock in this chest. There are a total of 4 types of evolution stones, each having different values. And one evolution stone can be 100 times more valuable than another evolution stone. Low water stone, mid water stone, high water stone, and top water stone. Low water stone, don't change the potential of Pokemon using it. Mid-water stone has a very small chance of increasing the potential of Pokemon under gold potential. High water stone has a good chance of improving the potential of the Pokemon under gold potential. Top water stone enhances the potential of every Pokemon that uses it. It can also improve the potential exponentially if the Pokemon's potential is very low. For example, normal to shallow silver. 2 water stones were low water stones. But fortunately, Alex found 1 high water stones. Looking through the chest, Alex saw a scale that had a unique color. This scale reminded Alex a lot of an item called the deep sea scale, so he also chose it. Alex chose these items at the end. 1 high water stones. 2 low water stone. King's rock. Deep sea scale, possibly. 153 pearls. Although he doesn't need any of these items, they are very valuable and can bring him a lot of money. Also, who knows when he might need one of these items. Especially the King's Rock is a very expensive and rare item. Besides, most trainers are not aware of the importance of this King's Rock, thus making it even more valuable. Although Alex thinks that the Alliance must have already discovered what these items do, it seems to be confidential information in this world. Alex and Kingler negotiated for a few minutes for the amount of food Alex had to give as payment. Fortunately, Kingler only knew that these items were useful to Alex but not how much. So she was at a disadvantage in this negotiation. In the end, Alex only had to pay for 1 month of food for all of these items. Alex wanted to bring the amount down a bit more, but he also didn't want to lose Kingler's goodwill for a few poke dollars. Just the chance to negotiate with Kingler again after 2 months is worth losing a little money. Losing the opportunity of earning 1 million poke dollars for the momentary gain of 1,000 poke dollars didn't make sense to Alex. Alex said goodbye to the Kingler group and set off to explore this area more closely. Because it's a green area, Alex wasn't afraid to explore it. He walked along the coast and occasionally saw various water-type Pokemon swimming near the shoreline. But because most of the Pokemon didn't have good potential, Alex ignored them. After a few minutes, Alex suddenly received a warning from Crobat that two Pokemon were fighting against each other. That piqued Alex's interest, and he asked Crobat to lead them to these two Pokemon. Crobat wordlessly led the group along the coast. After 3 minutes, Alex could see two Pokemon fighting at the coast. A large Gyarados and a Kingler with a dangerous aura fought on the edge of the beach. Even without the system, experienced trainers would be able to assess that Kingler was an elite Pokemon. Gyarados, several times taller than Kingler, was completely covered in wounds. The blood on his body may lead someone to believe that he was a shiny Gyarados. In comparison, Kingler only had a few minor injuries. Alex, who saw the information of both Pokemon, immediately knew the reason. Pokemon, Kingler. LV, 48. Type, Water. Abilities, Hypercutter. Gender, Male. Potential, Silver. Moves: Bubble, Mud Sport, Vice Grip, Leer, Harden, Bubble Beam, Mud Shot, Metal Claw, Stomp, Protect, Slam, Crabhammer, E. Innate Talent, Giga Impact, E. Pokemon, Gyarados. LV, 38. Type, Water/Flying. Abilities, Intimidate. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves: Splash, Tackle, Leer, Twister, Ice Fang, Aqua Tail, Scary Face, Dragon Rage, Crunch. Innate Talent, Dragon Tail, E. Defeating an elite Pokemon without a particularly effective tactic is almost impossible. So it was not surprising that Gyarados was at the losing end in this fight. Alex was also a little surprised that Gyarados even tried to fight this Kingler, who is much stronger than him. If Alex was Gyarados, he would have flown away immediately and tried to escape this almost impossible fight. Fighting a losing war that only leads to your destruction for no reason is a fool's job. Although Kingler is stronger than Gyarados, it cannot fly or swim as fast as Gyarados. So there is no reason for Gyarados to fight to the end. While thinking, Alex suddenly noticed that the Gyarados' eyes lost their aggressive expression and looked normal again. After Gyarados could now think like normal Pokemon, he immediately flew away from Kingler, who kept chasing him with a crazy look. Alex, who saw how Gyarados was apparently easily controlled by his emotions, understood why it is so difficult to train a Gyarados for a trainer. Chapter 113. Kingler was very annoyed when he saw that Gyarados ran away. Then he looked in Alex's direction and suddenly started running at a relatively fast pace towards him. Alex saw Kingler running aggressively in his direction and shouted, "Hey Kingler, we are not your enemies." Kingler ignored Alex's declaration and ran in his direction without saying anything. Alex showed a cold expression as he looked at this Kingler. Although his Pokemon are weaker, they are not so weak that they have to cower against him. Although Alex doesn't like fights where he doesn't have a 100% win rate, he's not a person who can be easily provoked. Kirlia, Will-O-Wisp. Sizer, Focus Energy. Ditto, transform into Crobat and use Confuse Ray. Crobat, Toxic. Shirelden, Metal Sound. Alex, who knows that a Pokemon can be poisoned and burned simultaneously, of course, uses both of these moves. Although these moves would have quite a weak effect due to the vast level gap between them and Kingler, they can still do a bit of damage over time. After a few seconds, Alex's Pokemon used all of their moves against the Kingler, who was running like a tank towards them. Alex realized the metal sound was totally useless even though it hit Kingler. He understood that the likely difference in strength between Shirelden and Kingler was too large for the move to work on him. Confuse Ray and Will-O-Wisp seemed to have worked on him, but the effect was much weaker than ordinary. Only Toxic seemed to have been a little effective. Kingler suddenly stopped running and started preparing a move. Alex, who saw this, knew that there was no time to waste. Kirlia and Shirelden used Protect together. Just when he said that, Kingler used Bubble Beam, which quickly flew towards Alex's group. Kirlia and Shirelden used Protect at the same time to block the move. Although both shields were almost destroyed by this one move, together, they managed to stop this attack. Alex was slightly shocked that a non-expert move could almost destroy the shield of 2 protects. But it's not surprising since it is a low elite Pokemon. He could understand the arrogance of these Kingler a little better now. Seeing that his attack was blocked, Kingler used Bubble Beam again. Alex, who saw this, looked annoyed and said, Kirlia, use Thunderbolt. Ditto and Crobat use Fly. Sheldon, use Iron Defense. After saying that, he ran out of reach of Kingler with Torchic. Although he was more than 25 meters away, he wanted to be at least 40 meters away to feel a little safe. With this distance, it would be easier for Kirlia to rescue him if necessary. Torchic looked at Alex to show that she can fight too. Alex looked at Torchic and said with a stern voice, No. It's very dangerous for you to go into a fight like this. Torchic showed a sad expression with tears in her eyes. Alex's face slightly twitched when he saw her sobbing. He took Torchic in his hand to prevent her from running away without telling and continued to watch the fight. He couldn't waste time explaining to Torchic exactly why she can't participate in this fight. Although she could easily break out of Alex's hand, she can't do it without getting Alex's attention, which was important for Alex to watching the fight without to fear that Torchic runs away if you don't pay attention to her. Kingler used the Bubble Beam to hit Sheldon, who couldn't evade. Sheldon, who was thrown back several meters from the hit, laid unconscious on the floor with severe wounds. This Kingler is really smart. Attacking the weaker Pokemon first to put more pressure on others. Alex took Sheldon's Pokeball and quickly called Sheldon back before he gets hit again. Unconscious Pokemon can be critically injured and even killed, so Alex naturally called Sheldon back immediately. Although Kingler was hit by Thunderbolt and Fly twice after using this move, the damage Kingler took appeared to be very small. Alex saw how little harm Kingler was taking. Fortunately, that wasn't my main plan. He saw that Sizer had already used focus energy to the maximum and was ready for his next command. Kirlia, use Helping Hand on Sizer. Ditto transform into Sizer after Kirlia uses Helping Hand on him. Crobat, use Protect to stop Kingler's attack. Kingler, who was only a few yards away from Crobat, used Crabhammer after jumping high in the air. Crobat wanted to avoid the attack but quickly realized that he wouldn't be able to do it in time and used Protect instantly. Kingler swung his claws like a baseball bat against Crobat's shield. In a second, the Protect shield was broken, and Crobat was thrown to the ground. Although the shield absorbed most of the damage, Crobat had suffered a great deal of damage. While Crobat was gaining time for others, Kirlia used Helping Hand on Sizer to reinforce Sizer's next move. Then Ditto used Transform to transform into Sizer. And because Ditto's transform is on the expert rank, the reinforcement of Sizer was also copied. Kirlia, Thunderbolt. Crobat, Shadow Ball. Sizer, Ditto, Giga Impact. Kingler, who saw 2 Sizers running at him with high speed, also used Giga Impact. He was hit again by Crobat and Kirlia before he traded moves with Ditto and Sizer. Sizer, Ditto, and Kingler collided hard against each other. Although Kingler's strength was higher, he was hit in the head, which also caused critical damage. Sizer and Ditto were badly injured and had only about 30 to 40% HP left. Kingler, on the other hand, looked better. Alex would estimate that he had around 50% HP left. When Alex wanted to prepare for his next move, he saw a group of Kingler and Krabby running in their direction from a distance. Come to me quickly. Alex's Pokemon immediately stopped fighting and quickly ran towards Alex. Kingler did not follow Alex's Pokemon but instead looked towards Kingler and Krabby's group. Alex said via telepathy to Kirlia that she should get ready to teleport them all away on his signal. Then he looked with curiosity what this group wanted to do. Kingler and the female Kingler were talking, more like bickering, to each other. But Kirlia and Alex were too far away to understand. But from the expressions of the two, Alex could sense that they were arguing about something. He could well imagine what these 2 Kingler were arguing about. After 3 minutes of quiet waiting, the female Kingler looked in Alex's direction as she made a go motion with her claws. Alex briefly showed an annoyed expression and thought about attacking this group. But the opportunity of exchanging items with this group again made him suppress this feeling. Though the main reason was that they weren't in a good position to fight. His Pokemon were not in the best situation to fight, and fighting this low elite Kingler along with this group was too much. "Come on, let's get out of this safe green area," said Alex with a sarcastic tone. Chapter 114. Saffron City, Silk Company. Giovanni was sitting in his chair and looked at Lisa softly when Lisa came in. Lisa, who usually has a playful smile, showed a serious expression as she entered the room. Although she didn't smile, there was respect in her eyes when she looked at the boss, Giovanni. Giovanni, who was quietly watching her, said with a slightly friendly tone, "Oh, Lisa, thanks for coming. Sit down so that we can talk further." Lisa, hearing the kindness of Giovanni's words, smiled. Of course, she thanked Giovanni politely and sat down. She always saw Giovanni as the father figure she never had. So she was very gratified after hearing the friendly tone of Giovanni. When she was young, Giovanni personally sacrificed a lot of time to train her, which she has never forgotten. "Lisa, you did a really great job this time. You not only discovered and trained Maria but Alex too." "Boss, although I'm happy to be so useful, I was just lucky this time. Especially, I didn't give any help to Alex to become so strong. Though he did buy items of my Lugia." Giovanni looked surprised. He thought that Lisa at least gave help to Alex, who got strong ridiculously fast. His assessment of Alex improved again. Although some bosses would have feared that their subordinates would become too strong, Giovanni wasn't worried about that. He has confidence that he can control Alex or at least make him useful for Team Rocket. Giovanni had already made a good assessment of Alex's character, so there was no reason to be worried. The fact that Alex has a neutral attitude towards Team Rocket shows Giovanni a lot about his character. The difference between slightly positive and neutral might not seem that great, but it is for Giovanni. Alex, who got a good Pokemon and support from Team Rocket, thinks about Team Rocket in only neutral terms. This shows that he is not very grateful for this help or believes that he can pay it back several times more later. If Alex had a slight disdain for Team Rocket, that would show that his morality does not align with Team Rocket. And even though Team Rocket helped him, he disagrees with the work they do. Still, Alex would be willing to continue to work for Team Rocket if it brings him advantages. And therefore, he would have slight contempt and not complete contempt. But this is not the case. Even after the help he received and in not having any problem with the work ethics of Team Rocket, he is neutral towards them. Then what about his slight contempt towards Alliance? The difference between neutral and slight contempt is greater than what it looks like. This is beneficial for Giovanni. It doesn't matter if that was luck or not. You did something that brought Team Rocket benefits. For that, you will be surely rewarded. He took out a briefcase and gave it to Lisa without a word. Lisa thanked him and asked afterward, "Boss, now that I'm an executive, can you tell me more about your plan with Alex and the other talented rookies?" No problem. But I don't have a special plan yet because I want to see who is the strongest rookie after 3 months." Lisa, who didn't understand why Giovanni wanted to wait 3 months, assumed that he probably wanted to observe their improvement rate. Though she is not sure about her assumption. "Boss, I have one more question about the Alliance if that's okay." Giovanni showed a friendly smile. "Of course, Lisa. As an executive, you should know important secrets like that. Like the fact that we have 3 Team Rocket members as gym leaders. And this number may soon become 4. I am sure that I can answer your question." Lisa, who heard this, recognized how much higher the position from executive to elite captain is. The difference is really big. I always wanted to ask why Team Rocket never tries to control an Elite Four member and puts more energy on the gym leaders. Don't the Elite Four have the highest power in the Alliance? Why not try to make a Team Rocket member like Koga an Elite Four member? Haha, this question shows that you really don't understand how the Alliance works. He made a pause before he continued with a smile. Although the positions with the most power are the champions and the Elite Four of each region, they can't really control the region. First of all, you have to know that the alliance is divided into 7 parts, and each part controls its own region. Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Alola, and Kalos. After that, you have to know that the power of the Kanto alliance is very divided. Although it's hard to explain, I'll try to make it as easy as possible. To explain it more simply, we'll talk about the influence in numerical terms. If I were to give points showing the amount of power/influence, it would be like this. 1 equals hardly any influence. 3 equals minor influence. 5 equals relatively influential. 7 equals great influence. 10 is equal to one of the most influential people in the alliance. 15 equals the most influential individual in the alliance. I'm giving this point a term called influence points. Each of the Elite Four has 10 influence points, and the champion has 15 influence points. Which sounds like a lot, but isn't really if you know about the other influencer. First, the 8 official gym leaders have 7 influence points each. Then the mayors of each major city have 3 influence points. The mayors of a small city have only 1 influence points. Then comes the industry. These sectors also have a lot of power because they have an integral role in our society. For example, the largest food company in Kanto has 5 influence points. The clothing company, construction company, sales company, USW have influence points varying from 3 to 5. All relatively large companies in Kanto have a say in the Kanto Alliance, because a large portion of the funding is contributed by them. In addition, there are also the large clans of Kanto. The most well-known should be the Joy and Jenny clan, which are very influential. Only the clan president of the two has a value of 10, which shows the amount of influence that these two great clans have. Moreover, there are other parties like the professor community, which also has a lot of influence. The representative of the professor community, Professor Samuel Oak, alone, has 10 influence points. As you can see, there are a lot of parties in the Kanto Alliance that control this region. Although the champion and the Elite Four are indeed one of the most influential people, their influence doesn't even add up to 20%. The Elite Four is just one of the influential people. Nothing more. Lisa, who heard this, showed an astounded expression. The information Giovanni had given her about the alliance was very precise, which is really not easy to find out for a regular person. Boss, if the alliance is as divided as you say, then how do they control Kanto? The champion and the Elite Four have enough power to change small things in Kanto and make small decisions for the alliance. When big decisions have to be made, they will vote with the most influential people to decide. Although they do discuss before the election, normally, each party chooses what is most advantageous for them. Lisa saw how difficult it is to control the alliance and realized why Giovanni was unwilling to sacrifice many resources to get an Elite Four member. Although it's nice to have one, it's not very important to Team Rocket. She could understand Giovanni's step in choosing gym leaders and other medium-sized parties. Chapter 115. Alex took some super potions out of his TRH device and started healing his Pokémon. Although Kirlia has a healing move, it is not on expert rank, and therefore, it is worse than a super potion. Only Caesar's Roost has a better effect than super potion, so he doesn't need any healing items. Then he looked at the area he wanted to explore next. Although other areas have many enticing things, Area 10 has one particular item that piqued Alex's interest. Area 10 #. Danger level, orange. Pokemon leader, Mid-Elite Onix, very aggressive. Rare Pokemon, Phanpy. Rare items, Moonstone. Rare items only shows items that can be often found in this area. This means that there are probably a lot of Moonstone in this rocky area. Although Alex doesn't own a Pokemon for whom Moonstone is useful, Moonstones are generally valuable and a great way to make quick money, especially if you can find the mid and high Moonstones. Finding top Moonstones is very unlikely but not impossible, especially in this area, which was very appealing to Alex. Top moonstones cannot be bought just like that. Such valuable items are often sold in big auctions for a lot of money. Although Alex doesn't know the value a top moonstone can be auctioned, he guessed that it has to be at least 1 million Poke Dollars. Probably even more. A lot more. Although he has a way to make money, it is not very safe to do it frequently. He can't sell too many silver Pokemon at once, or else someone will find out that something is wrong. Although he can probably earn several million Poke Dollars after a few months, it is unfortunately not enough for Alex now. He now has 6 Pokemon who eat expensive food every day, which costs him an average of 6,000 Poke Dollars daily. In addition, training items and healing items cost around 2,000 daily. He trains daily. That means that he spends at least 8,000 Poke Dollars per day. Probably even more if you factor in other things. This way, he loses at least 240,000 Poke Dollars per month. However, it is most likely more than 300,000 Poke Dollars, because of Pokemon that eat more like Sheldon. This is without taking into account the purchase of TMs or valuable Pokemon items. Although he can probably make 1 million Poke Dollars a month if he stays in a city, Alex thinks he can make even more money on this island. While a bit more dangerous, the rewards are really very good. If the map doesn't have any wrong information, there are various valuable items on this island that are just waiting to be found. Alex was very pleased with Giovanni's reward. For him, it's even better than a gold Pokemon. As long as he uses the information given to him wisely and is careful enough, this island is not really dangerous for him. He can also train his Pokemon faster on this island, which is also a great advantage. Alex and his Pokemon slowly left Area 3 and started to enter neighboring Area 10. This area is connected to the sand coast and turns into a rocky and uneven area. Many different rock, ground, and steel-type Pokemon were visible when Alex entered this area. Nosepass, Geodude, and Sandshrew were commonly found Pokemon here. He also saw a few silver Pokemon among those Pokemon. Although Alex would like to capture all these Pokemon, he doesn't have enough food to give them. Pokemon can survive for a long time without food. It's bad for training if Pokemon don't eat every day, but 2 months is asking for too much. Pokemon in the Pokeballs consume their food much more slowly and therefore can stay in these Pokeballs for a long time. It is okay to leave a caught Pokemon for at least 3 weeks without food in the Pokeball, as long as it has not entered the Pokeball with an empty stomach. Alex, who wanted to save food, will only start catching Pokemon in the last 3 weeks. Of course, if he finds a gold Pokemon or a valuable silver Pokemon, he won't miss the opportunity. As he moved around the big area, almost all of the Pokemon in the wild avoided them. These Pokemon were able to assess Alex's Pokemon well and didn't want to provoke Alex. Although a few very aggressive Pokemon, who couldn't use their mind properly, still attacked Alex. And they were quickly defeated by Alex's Pokemon. Alex suddenly saw a strong Pokemon arrogantly walking in his direction. Pokemon, Golem. LV, 40. Type, Rock/Ground. Abilities, Sturdy. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Move. Defense Curl, Tackle, Sand Attack, Bide, Rock Throw, Stealth Rock, Takedown, Self-Destruct, Rock Slide, Double Edge. Innate Talent, Earthquake, E. Earthquake on the Expert rank is really good. Deep Silver isn't bad either. It's a shame that I don't like his talent, nor is he any good compared to my Pokemon. The only advantage he has is that he is an elite Pokemon. But convincing these arrogant Pokemon is really not worth the effort. I'd rather catch it and sell it for good money. Hush! Hush! Don't say it. Even if Alex has to sacrifice a bit of his excellent Pokemon food to catch this Golem, it is well worth the effort. Golem is a popular Pokemon species that can be sold for a good amount of money. The Earthquake had ranked on the Expert, and it is at the Elite level, so it should fetch a lot of money. Especially when you consider that silver Pokemon are still relatively rare. Alex saw that his Pokemon were in an alert position and tried to warn Golem to not come near. And yet, this arrogant Pokemon was still slowly moving towards them without any care. Alex could understand these arrogant Pokemon a bit. Usually, elite Pokemon are not afraid of other non-elite Pokemon even if they are in a group. As long as this group does not have many Pokemon higher than LV35, it will not be afraid of group battles. Maybe if Alex had 3 LV39 Pokemon, Golem wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. But because Alex's Pokemon have relatively low levels, Golem was not afraid. Fortunately, Alex's Pokemon are very well trained, making them a lot stronger than regular wild Pokemon. Even though he's weaker than Kingler, he has a really annoying move. Alex thought as he noticed that they are just about in Golem's range of attack. Chapter 116. Self-destruct move is very deadly in this world. Especially if the Pokemon using it is on elite rank. The user of the self-destruct move not only becomes unconscious but also suffers grave injuries that can be fatal if not healed immediately. While the possibility of a Pokemon using this move in the wild is very unlikely, it is not impossible. Some Pokemon are so vengeful that they would prefer to lose their lives to kill or injure their enemy. Alex saw Golem coming closer and closer with an arrogant expression and took his Pokeballs out of his belt. After retrieving all of the Pokemon except Crobat, he gave Crobat a command. Crobat, take me 150 meters away from here. Crobat, who thought that they would fight here, looked confusingly at Alex but immediately did as Alex said. Alex flew away with Crobat, and Golem had a victorious look on his face seeing that. After only a few seconds of flying, Crobat landed again. Although Golem and Alex could still see each other, they were way too far to attack each other. Alex looked coldly towards Golem and took all his Pokemon out of their Pokeballs again. Kirlia, calm mind. Sizer, use focus energy and agility. Sheldon, rock polish. Alex's Pokemon looked confused at first, but after they saw Alex looking sharply in the direction of Golem, they showed an understanding look. Their trainer was really vengeful. Golem saw Alex and figured out that Alex did not run away but simply created a distance between them and became a little confused. But when he saw Alex's Pokemon using reinforcement moves, he showed a thoughtful expression. After several seconds of intense thinking, he finally understood that Alex wasn't actually scared but wanted to reinforce his Pokemon before starting the fight. Golem looked angry and started running at his fastest speed towards Alex. Golem is slow, but that is compared to normal Pokemon. His speed cannot be compared to a human's running speed. Alex saw this Golem running like a juggernaut and watched calmly. Golem's smartest options would have been to run away or reinforce himself with Defense Curl. He could have also filled the battle area with Stealth Rock so that Alex's Crobat would have a problem in flying freely. But he is too arrogant with his elite rank strength. And this arrogance will lead to his demise in this battle. Do Golem have their brain made of stones too, or is this Golem particularly gifted? Kirlia and Sheldon, who had already been reinforced to maximum, got ready to fight. Sizer seemed to need a little longer to reinforce himself to the max. Ditto, transforms yourself into Kirlia. After that, both of you use Helping Hand on each other. Alex, who could understand the strength and usefulness of Ditto from the last 2 team fights, wondered why no Pokemon trainer trains a Ditto. Although it is not particularly strong in 1v/S1 battle, its usefulness in team battle is abnormally high. As the Golem came in the combat range, Alex had 2 Kirlia who had been buffed up to the maximum with the Calm Mind and Helping Hand, Sizer with max agility and focus energy buff, and Sheldon with max rock polish buff. As soon as the Golem was in range to attack Alex and his Pokemon, it began to prepare a move. Alex immediately ran out of Golem's attack range together with Torchic. He didn't want to be accidentally hit by an expert rank Earthquake from an elite Pokemon. Earthquake works differently in this world than in Alex's world but is not necessarily more harmless. When the move Earthquake is used, the ground will produce a strong vibration with the user as the center point. This will cause severe internal damage to any Pokemon that comes into contact with this vibration. This move does a lot more damage here than in the game, making it very popular among the trainers. Although this move is very strong in this respect, it has several weak points. 1. The further a Pokemon is from the central point of the move, the lesser damage it takes. 2. The move can only be kept up for 1 or 2 seconds if it is not on the expert rank. Pokemon can just jump up to avoid this move. 3. Flying-type Pokemon or Pokemon who can levitate cannot be damaged by this move as long as they remain in the air. Unfortunately, Golem has made that move on the expert rank, which is really bad for Alex. Although Alex's Pokemon are around 30 meters away, the range of an elite Pokemon with an expert rank Earthquake is relatively large. So Alex's Pokemon would still take a plentiful amount of damage. If Alex were this Golem's trainer, he wouldn't be using Earthquake from this relatively long distance. It's just very ineffective. For example, he could defeat Kirlia with one Earthquake if Kirlia was right in front of him and would not have to use the move several times to defeat Kirlia. Kirlia, Ditto, use Magical Leaf. Scizor, use Metal Claw after Ditto and Kirlia's attack. Although the 2 times Magical Leaf with Calm Mind and Helping Hand buff would have defeat Golem immediately, Alex had felt that the Golem would probably withstand it. Elite rank Pokemon is really no joke. Especially if Alex's Pokemon have a 6 to 7 level difference. Kirlia and Ditto used Magical Leaf, and a large storm of Magical Leaf leaves quickly flew towards Golem. At the same time, Golem used Earthquake and made the whole earth shake strongly in its surroundings. Scizor, who was running straight towards Golem, took most of the damage and spat out blood from his mouth. He also briefly stopped running in the direction of Golem. Golem, who did not stop using Earthquake, did even more damage to Scizor, who also did not stop spitting blood. Alex's other Pokemon also suffered a bit of damage, but not as much as Scizor, who was relatively close. Fortunately, Golem was then hit by the combined Magical Leaf Storm and could no longer seem to keep up as he was crying out loud in pain. Golem's whole body had deep cuts and spouts of gray liquid. His entire body looked like he had just been hit by 100 sharp swords. Even though the Golem was so badly damaged, it was not unconscious yet. Scizor took the chance and ran swiftly in front of Golem with silver glowing claws. He used his full speed that he had built up and used Metal Claw. Golem was hit in the head by Scizor and flew like a soccer ball several meters before he fell unconscious to the ground. Without a word, Alex brought out a super potion and a great ball as he looked in the direction of Scizor to check whether Golem was really unconscious. Scizor nodded, and Alex went in front of Golem and began to heal him. Immediately afterward, he used his great ball to catch Golem. Chapter 117. 3 weeks later in Area Number 10. Alex opens his tent and looks at the sun that is just rising. Then he looked up and saw Crobat looking at him on a tree with a passive face. Crobat, who can also perceive creatures while sleeping, is really a very good Pokemon for monitoring the night. After 3 weeks, Alex has seen most of this area relatively well. Although he has not seen all of this large area yet, he saw most of it. He also meets the Onix who controls this area more than 3 times. The map didn't lie when it said that this Onix is very aggressive. Although Alex hadn't provoked it, it attacked Alex immediately when it saw him. Alex saw how strong this Onix was and ran away with his Pokemon. A level 54 gold Pokemon is not a Pokemon Alex wants and can fight. Although Alex's Pokemon have easily won against Golem, this Onix is not comparable. Alex, who knows how important levels are in this world, knows that Onix can probably defeat any of his Pokemon with one move. If Onix uses a move like Rock Slide that has high attack surfaces, Alex's entire team is defeated. When all of Alex's Pokemon are unconscious, he and his Pokemon are very likely dead. He also learned from his 3 encounters that this Onix was ridiculously fast and that it can reach similar speeds as Crobat. Although Crobat several levels lower is as Onix is, this performance of speed really impressive. After 3 weeks, Alex found many moonstones which of course he immediately collected. He found 1 top moonstone, 2 high moonstones, 7 mid moonstones, 22 low moonstone. Especially that he found a top moonstone made him particularly pleased. Although he did not need this stone, valuable items like Top Moonstone can never be too few. Alex can swap it with his friend Steven for other items if he really has no other use. Although he can also exchange it for money, it is relatively unnecessary for Alex, who doesn't necessarily need money. But Alex not only found valuable moonstones but also greatly increased the strength of his Pokémon. All of his Pokémon have become stronger from fighting every day. It's really true that the fastest way to train is in the wild. Although it is dangerous, the benefits are really good. Alex Pokémon. Pokémon, Crobat. LV, 38. Type, Poison/Flying. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Moves: Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent, Shadow Ball, E. Innate Talent, Fly, E. Innate Talent, Cross Poison, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Taunt. Pokémon, Scizor. LV, 37. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Moves: Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind, Iron Defense. Innate Talent, Roost, E. Innate Talent, Metal Claw, E. Innate Talent, Brick Break, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Thief, TM, Facade, TM, Giga Impact, TM, U-Turn, TM, Sandstorm, TM, Substitutes. Pokémon, Kirlia. LV, 34. Type, Psychic/Fairy. Abilities, Telepathy. Gender, Female. Potential, Gold. Move: Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic. Innate Talent, Disable, E. Innate Talent, Calm Mind, E. Innate Talent, Dazzling Gleam, E. TM, Protect, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Will-O-Wisp, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Thunder Wave, TM, Helping Hand. Pokémon, Ditto. LV, 35. Type, Normal. Abilities, Imposter, Hidden Ability. Gender, Genderless. Potential, Silver. Move: Innate Talent, Transform, E. Pokémon, Shirelden. LV, 30. Type, Rock/Steel. Abilities, Sturdy. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move: Protect, Tackle, Taunt, Metal Sound, Takedown, Iron Defense, Swagger, Ancient Power. Innate Talent, Rock Polish, E. Innate Talent, Sleep Talk, Innate Talent, Flamethrower, E. Pokémon, Torchic. LV, 15. Type, Fire. Abilities, Speed Boost, Hidden Ability. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move: Growl, Scratch, Ember, Sand Attack, Peck. Innate Talent, Attract, Innate Talent, Sunny Day, Innate Talent, Overheat, E. Many things have changed in these 3 weeks. First, Scizor, Shirelden, and Torchic each learned at least one new move. Scizor learned Iron Defense. Shirelden learned Ancient Power. Torchic learned Sand Attack and Peck. Alex was especially happy when Scizor suddenly told him after a fight that he now knows how to use Iron Defense. Although it is strange for Alex, who is still familiar with the logic of his old world, the Pokémon suddenly learn moves, it seems to be completely normal in this world's awareness. He thinks it's similar to the instincts of animals in Alex's old world. Before he came into this world, Alex didn't wonder why animals have instincts. It was just a normal law of nature for him. Now that Scizor can use the move Iron Defense, Alex is overloaded with the move he wants to train Scizor. Scizor, who has not yet trained Focus Energy and Agility on the Expert, has now received a further reinforcement move with Iron Defense. After long deliberation, Alex has decided to let Scizor only train these 3 moves. If he has these 3 moves on the Expert, and Scizor can strengthen himself when running fast. In addition, his reinforcements will be even more effective if he trains these moves on the Expert rank. Although training these moves is not really useful now, the advantages in the future are very great. Alex prefers to invest time in these moves now rather than later. In addition, Alex's 3 strongest Pokémon have managed to train all their innate talent moves to the Expert rank. Sheldon and Torchic also managed to train 1 move more to the Expert rank: Flamethrower and Overheat. Another thing Alex noticed in these 3 weeks that 2 of his Pokémon technically have to evolve, or at least in the games. Kirlia and Sheldon showed no signs of evolving even though they finally reached the evolving level. Alex didn't worry though. He thinks it has to do with the fact that Kirlia and Sheldon are very young. Although he can't prove it, he thinks it is very likely. Although Alex was happy about a lot of things in these 2 weeks, the thing that happened on the 13th day was really special for him. On the 13th day in Area 10 at breakfast, Alex noticed something. When he looked at the status of his Pokémon from time to time, he suddenly saw something very surprised. Sheldon eating his breakfast was suddenly a gold Pokémon when Alex checked his status again. Alex saw the scream loudly and started laughing. The fact that Sheldon has increased his potential through the help of his expensive food has resulted in unexpected feelings of happiness. Although Alex's Pokémon looked at him strangely when her trainer screams out loud and laughed for no reason, Alex ignored Kirlia's worried looks. Though he looked annoyed when Scizor and Crobat looked at him with sympathetic eyes. Alex knows these 2 Pokémon too well not to know that they are making fun of him. As a revenge to these 2 Pokémon, he slightly increased their training plan for this day without saying a word. Although Scizor and Crobat later noticed what Alex was about to do and want to start to complain to Alex, but only saw Alex, who showed a sympathetic expression to their complaints. Chapter 118. Alex, who has been in this area for 3 weeks, has already chosen his next destination. Area 14 #. Danger level, Orange. Pokémon leader, Mid-Elite Pidgeot, very fast. Rare Pokémon, Eevee. Rare items, Pecha Berry. Area 14 has a Pokémon that Alex would like to add to his team. Eevee, the Pokémon with the most different evolution, is a very popular Pokémon with trainers. Of course, the cuteness of Eevee also helps to make it so popular. Although Alex would like to catch an Eevee, he only wants to catch it if it has good potential. He doesn't want to catch a bronze Eevee and then sacrifice a lot of money to improve its potential. Although he is rich, Alex is not rich enough to throw away his money. When Alex walked from the stony area of 10 # to the wooded area of Area 14, he saw no Pokémon in this dense forest. He looked at Crobat and told him to lead the group. Crobat, who can perceive other Pokémon well, is a good Pokémon to guide Alex through this forest. Crobat was leading wordless Alex and his Pokémon through the forest when he suddenly looked at Alex. Then he said something to Alex who didn't understand, although he thinks it is probably a warning that he discovered a Pokémon. Kirlia quickly translated Crobat's words to Alex so that he could understand quickly and not have to guess Crobat's expression. There is a group of 25 Pokémon on a tree. What do you want to do? Alex, who heard this information, showed a thoughtful expression. He knew that Eevee is probably not a Pokémon that would stay on the tree, which makes it very likely that it is another Pokémon. Probably a bug or a flying-type Pokémon. There might be a gold Pokémon in this group. Although Alex thinks this is very unlikely, he couldn't suppress the thought when he followed Crobat to lead him to this group. After 5 minutes, Crobat stopped behind a tree and looked at a tree 20 meters away. Alex saw that immediately, looking at the tree, and saw a real creeping scene on the tree. 25 spider-like Pokémon were all spread out on the head of a tree. These Pokémon were Spinarak and Ariados, who sat on the spider nets they built. Even if Alex wasn't scared of spiders, he had to admit that he was a bit scared of these big spiders. A spider that is longer than his legs is really not an easy sight to look at, especially when there are so many big spiders. He then looks at the information of this group. In this group, there were 17 Spinarak and 8 Ariados. The 17 Spinarak were split between levels 3 to 23 and had a potential between shallow bronze and deep silver. The 7 Ariados were split between levels 22 to 34 and had a potential between deep bronze and silver. Alex, who saw the high average talent of this group, thought that this leader also had a very good potential, was disappointed when he saw the information. Pokemon, Ariados. LV, 37. Type, Bug/Poison. Abilities, Swarm. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Silver. Moves: Constrict, Poison Sting, String Shot, Absorb, Infestation, Scary Face, Nightshade, Shadow Sneak, Fury Swipes, Sucker Punch, Spider Web, Agility. Innate Talent, Psychic, E. Not only was the potential not the highest of his group, but also completely average in his group. This again shows that the leader of a group does not necessarily have to have the best potential. Alex, who saw this group, looked at his Pokemon and started walking away. Although this group has several silver Pokemon, Alex is not worth fighting with this group. Not only do they have almost 5 times as many Pokemon, but they are very skilled in fighting in the forest. Together with that, this group didn't have a Pokemon which had particularly good potential, made it an easy choice for Alex. As he slowly walked away, he suddenly saw a small group of 4 Rattata and 1 Raticate running quickly in the direction of this tree. Behind this small group, a large group of Pidgeotto and Pidgey was the chase after that group. The small group of Rattata and Raticate that were followed did not have time to pay attention to their surroundings and ran to the tree of Spinarak and Ariados. Alex, who could imagine what would happen next, looked interested at the scene. He wanted to know how the Spinarak and Ariados would react. Although he had a suspicion, he wanted to know if the Spinarak and Ariados really do what he imagines. After a few seconds, Alex saw a very bloody scene. 25 spider-like Pokemon attacked the group of 5 at the same time. They quickly used their moves to knock the weak prey unconscious and immediately began to cut the prey into pieces. Pokemon that pass out can be killed much more easily, which this group takes advantage of. The fight didn't last a few seconds before the group of Spinarak and Ariados killed their prey. Alex, who saw this efficiency of killing, understood why assassins like these Pokemon so much. It really is a good and quick killer if it is not detected. Chapter 119. Alex, who was expecting a fight between the Ariados group and Pidgeotto, was disappointed when he saw the two groups seemingly ignoring each other and didn't start attacking each other. He understood why the Ariados group ignores the Pidgeotto group. In this area, there is an elite Pokemon that is of the same species as this group of Pidgeotto, so it makes sense that this group of Ariados does not want to accidentally provoke a strong elite Pokemon, but he doesn't understand why the Pidgeotto group doesn't want to fight. Maybe because Ariados is a poison-type Pokemon is a reason why this group of Pidgeotto doesn't want to fight? Alex watched wordlessly as the group of Ariados wrapped their dead prey in cocoons. This scene reminds him of normal spiders who even wrap their prey alive in cocoons. After seeing the team fighting ability of this group of Ariados, there is no way he wants to fight this group. He showed Crobat a signal. 5 hours later. Alex, who walked through this forest, saw a lot of Pokemon. Most of the Pokemon were weak and bug or grass Pokemon that you can find elsewhere. Although he sometimes encountered relatively strong Pokemon, they were quickly defeated by his Pokemon. Fortunately, Alex also finds a small group of 3 Eevee. But when he saw the potential of this group, he was very disappointed. 1 Bronze Eevee and 2 Deep Bronze Eevee was really not good. Although the potential was bad, one other thing was very troubling about these Pokemon. Each of these 3 Eevee was very cowardly and ran away immediately if there was another Pokemon in sight. It was even more visible when Alex surrounded the 3 Eevee and blocked their escape route. The 3 Eevee showed no will to fight when they were surrounded by Alex. They only showed very anxious expressions and no signs of wanting to fight to defend themselves. One of these Eevee even started crying as Alex and his Pokemon got closer. Alex, who had seen this cowardice, had enough. He walked away wordlessly with his Pokemon and made these cowards run away. As soon as Alex and his Pokemon went away, the three Eevee ran like their lives were at stake. Is that a joke? Is it just these three Eevee, or does the whole species have such a personality? Alex suddenly looked at his TRH device and saw that he had received a message from Professor Wilder. The message said, "Alex, call me back." Alex looked a bit confused when he received such a message from the professor. Although Alex and the professor had a good chat after the tournament, he didn't hear from the professor after the tournament. After a few seconds, Alex called the professor. "Hello, this is Professor Walder speaking." "Hey Professor Walder, this is Alex." "Ah, Alex, good that you called back. I have one thing I want to talk to you about. Do you have a few minutes?" "Sure, Professor Walder." "What's wrong?" "Oh no, there is nothing wrong. I just wanted to invite you to an auction." "An auction? You don't mean the big auction that the Alliance holds for its members?" "Yes, exactly this event. Are you interested in participating?" Alex heard about the big Alliance auctions. These auctions not only auction rare Pokemon but also very rare Pokemon items that you normally cannot buy. Unfortunately, you have to be a high member of the Alliance to receive an invitation, so most trainers cannot attend such auctions. "Professor, that sounds great, but am I allowed to take part in it?" "Haha, Alex, you may not know that, but normally we always invite the top 3 of the Kanto Rookie Tournament." Alex, who heard this, heard a word that sounds a bit abnormal in this sentence. Normally this word sounds normal as long as you don't think about why sometimes the top 3 is not invited. "That sounds great, Professor Walder. When does the auction start?" "Celadon City in 30 days at 4 p.m. I will show you the exact location when you are in town." "Okay, Professor. I'll be there in 30 days. Goodbye." "Goodbye, Alex." Alex, who thought about the course of the conversation, was wondering if this might be a trap from the Alliance to catch him. Although he wasn't particularly suspicious of this conversation, he thought there was a possibility that it really was a trap for him. If it's really a trap, the Alliance should know that I'm a Team Rocket member, which is really unlikely. Can it really be a trap? Maybe I'm just too suspicious. But I should still inform me. Alex called Lisa after a few seconds. Although he thinks it is unlikely that it is really a trap, he wants to hear the opinion of a high person in Team Rocket to play it safe. 3 minutes later. Alex, who just finished talking to Lisa, was convinced that it is very likely not a trap. Lisa, who was able to confirm that the Alliance really invited the top 3 rookies from the tournament every year and had never used this event as a trap, could bring Alex a calm conscience about this auction. Chapter 120. Alex, who successfully soothed his troubled thoughts, continued looking for a good Eevee. Although this meeting with the group of 3 Eevee was not optimal, Alex doesn't think that every Eevee is like that. After a few minutes, Alex suddenly smelled a familiar odor. It's a bit like honey if you don't know this smell, but Alex, who recognized this smell immediately, knew that this smell came from a Pokemon and not from honey. Victreebel? No, it can also be another grass Pokemon. Though probably only Victreebel eats the meat of other Pokemon. Carnivine is possible, too. Alex, who knew how this trap worked, slowly followed the smell with his Pokemon. After 2 minutes, Alex and his Pokemon came in front of a bush that gave off a strong honey smell. Alex had to look at the small part at the bottom of the bush to see the information about the Pokemon. Pokemon, Victreebel. LV, 37. Type, grass/poison. Abilities, chlorophyll. Gender, male. Potential, deep silver. Moves: Vine Whip, Growth, Wrap, Acid, Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Razor Leaf, Poison Jab, E. Innate Talent, Mega Drain, E. Alex smiled as he said, Which of you want to do this fight? Caesar immediately showed an interesting expression when they heard Alex's question. Combative, who saw this, said with a disdainful expression that you want to fight doesn't surprise me in the least. This is the only chance you have to win a fight. Caesar, who heard this, showed an annoyed expression when he said you can't even hold your big mouth for 1 minute. Nobody thinks you're dead if you don't speak. What did you say, you grill tongue? Stop calling me grill tongue or I'll send you flying. Oh, you want to fight? Alex, who heard the exact words from Kirlia via telepathy, showed an angry expression when he heard the talk from his 2 Pokémon. Shut up, both of you. If you say one word again, I will double your training for a week. Combative, who knows that Alex would really do this, stopped speaking and just looked at Caesar with contempt. Caesar, who usually doesn't mind training a little more, didn't really want to train that much. He knew that double training is really a hell of a lot of training and that his whole body would probably be full of pain at the end of the day. When Alex saw that both of them finally shut up, he said with a slight voice, Kirlia will do this fight. Although Ditto is 1 level higher than Kirlia, Ditto is not really strong in 1v/S1 battles. Alex didn't test it, but he thinks Ditto would probably lose 1 versus 1 against Kirlia. Kirlia gave a slight smile when she heard that she was allowed to fight. After the fight with Misty's Dugong, she hadn't fought a strong Pokemon anymore, and even the fight with Dugong wasn't a real 1 versus 1 because Dugong was poisoned. Kirlia, use Calm Mind as often as you can before you fight. Kirlia nodded and started using Calm Mind. Alex knew that Kirlia probably didn't have a good chance against Victreebel without the reinforcements from Calm Mind, so that he decided to let Kirlia fight reinforced against Victreebel. After Kirlia used Calm Mind to the max, Alex said use Psychic. Kirlia, who used Psychic about 20 meters away from Victreebel, who was hiding as a bush, easily hit Victreebel with this move. To Alex, this attack looked like an invisible, large hammer had been slammed into the bush. Victreebel, who has suffered severe damage, comes out of the earth and looks at the attacker who attacked him. After seeing Kirlia, he looked angry when his eyes showed a dangerous light. Kirlia showed no expression of fear when she saw this threatening expression and began to prepare another move. Victreebel, who saw that Kirlia was not afraid of him and wanted to keep fighting, began to prepare a move. Kirlia used Psychic again and did more harm to Victreebel's body. Victreebel's body now had a number of spots that emitted green blood and didn't look so healthy anymore. Victreebel, who finished shortly after Kirlia used Razor Leaf. Kirlia, who immediately used Teleport, barely managed to avoid the attack by Victreebel. Kirlia used Will-O-Wisp. Kirlia heard Alex's words, then began to prepare for this move. Victreebel, who saw that Kirlia dodged his attack, showed an angry expression as he prepared another move. To Alex's slight surprise, Victreebel finished first and used the move, Mega Drain, before Kirlia used her move. Although it is not really surprising that an expert move is finished faster than a normal move even if it starts to prepare slightly later. Victreebel created small green projects that fly quickly in the direction of Kirlia, which is still preparing its move. Kirlia was hit by the attack and suffered severe damage. After that one hit, she lost more than 30% of her HP. Alex, who saw this, did not show a surprised expression. Kirlia HP is really bad, so it's not surprising that she takes so much damage from this one move. Victreebel, who successfully hit his move, healed his wounds and caused his body to stop bleeding. This is really an annoying move. If a Pokemon can't do enough damage, it's very hard to defeat this Victreebel. When Alex thought about it, Kirlia was successfully using Will-O-Wisp and hit the slow Victreebel with this move. Victreebel, who was on fire, now showed a painful expression as he prepared his next move. Alex, who knows that Will-O-Wisp made more harm to grass Pokemon in this world, showed a smile. Kirlia used Psychic and Teleport as long as this Victreebel can still fight. Now that Victreebel is hit by Will-O-Wisp, the damage he and Psychic suffered will be way too much to be able to heal with Mega Drain. Although Kirlia can harm him enough with Psychic even without Will-O-Wisp, this method is much faster. After 2 minutes, Alex looked at an unconscious Victreebel and an exhausted Kirlia. Kirlia, who used Teleport a lot, wasted a lot of energy in this one fight. Alex just wanted to pull out a Pokeball to catch Victreebel when he suddenly saw Curlia start to glow. Curlia, who slowly began to be glow all over her body, showed an excited expression. Alex quickly pulled out the 20 Lugia scales that he had saved for that moment and gave them to Curlia. Curlia began to absorb as much psychic energy as possible from these scales. After absorbing 3 Lugia scales, she stopped and started changing her shape. Alex, who saw how a little girl grew up into an adult, couldn't help but think that children grow up quickly. She grows up a little too fast, thought Alex with a sad expression. That's the end of this tale for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 4. Peace.